We're in the third inning. A lot has gone on. It's 1-0 Blue Jays. What did they wind up calling that? Stolen base. Stolen base. So the first on the year for Bautista.
Again, a smart read. He saw what was happening, and as soon as he looked at second and saw no one at the bag, he realized this is my opportunity.
Yeah, when a runner goes back to first base on the throw, I'm not so sure where I stand on that stolen base. Line drive down the left field line. This is a solid base hit. Bautista will score. Digging for second with an RBI double is Aaron Hill. And the Blue Jays lead it 2-0 on Felix Hernandez and the Seattle Mariners.
To a run, you heard the boos here from a small gathering in Seattle. That's reflective of a club that's lost 7 straight.
And the second tonight for the Mariners, that first run that came in the second inning, came on a line drive hit by Jason Nix. He hit it on the money, but he hit it at the third baseman, Figgins, who actually got hit in the wrist and not the glove, and the run scored. Here's the Tapper foul third base side off the bat of J.P. Arancibia. He was a strikeout victim in the second.
And you wonder, Alan, what the thoroughbreds on this club are thinking, and they are. Felix Hernandez having won a Cy Young Award, and the great Ichiro in right field. What their mindset is right now, surrounded by this ineptness.
It really is showing up right now, and if you're a Seattle Mariners fan, you have to feel like, what are we going to be looking at all season long? They trail it 2-0, 2 runs that really should not be on the board right now. Curveball stays up and in, a ball and a strike on J.P. Arancibia for Aaron Hill. The RBI, his 7th on the year, so RBI numbers. Hill leads from second. Jack Wilson, the second baseman, holding near the bag and now retreats to his position. Hernandez to his position. Hernandez brings it, and the pitch is looped down the right field side. 3 players converging. It's Ichiro sliding and coming up short as it drops fair. Moving for third base is Aaron Hill. It's a single for J.P. Arancibia. Just a pop fly that lands in between Smoke Wilson and Ichiro and lands just inside the line on this, and therefore eventually just gets to third base. So Felix Hernandez has to feel very snake bit right now.
And his pitching coach, Carl Willis, out there. So Aaron ends up kind of the middleman in this inning here, and for both clubs, they've been struggling of late, hitting with men in scoring position. That's a huge hit for Hill, and now Snyder has a chance for another one.
So they break up the meeting on the mound. As they retreat to positions, we have a chance to check in on that Home Hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard, and we start in the American League. The Texas Rangers winners already at Detroit. Save number 4 on the season, and no home runs to report out of Detroit. Texas, boy, off to a great start. Travis Snyder stands in and takes a strike on the outside edge. I don't imagine that meeting at the mound with the pitching coach Carl Willis had a lot of game. You're doing just fine. We'll see if we can get the rest of the guys playing well behind you. Here's the 0-1 pitch up and away.
Here's a big situation for Travis, too. He comes home. Parent, his dad is here. Of course, he lost his mom a number of years ago in a car accident. His sister, his family and friends. Big opportunity, if nothing else, to get that runner home from third with a fly ball.
A 1-1 count with Felix Hernandez. He comes set, checks his runners at the corner. There goes Arancibia as the pitch is fouled down the left field side. So 1-2 the count. We're 1 out here in the third inning. 2-0 Jays on top. Tampa Bay just laid it on the Red Sox. 16-5 the final. Jeremy Hellickson picking up the win over Daisuke Matsuzaka, who's now 0-2 and got roughed up in this one. 7 earned runs in just 2 innings. So Matsuzaka and others on that staff having a tough time. Pitches fouled back. The Oakland A's win it 2-1 at Chicago. Kurt Suzuki wins it for the Oakland A's in the top of the 10th inning. A game-winning home run, his first on the year. Brent Lillibridge hit one for the White Sox in defeat. By the way, in the Red Sox loss, Jacoby Ellsbury hit his second. for Tampa Bay. Sam Fold and Johnny Damon each with dingers. Here's a Tapper foul at the plate.
To hear the A's win on a home run. They had 2 when they left Toronto, and that was 6 games into the season.
Well, it took extra innings to get to that home run.
That was the difference right there.
Tyler Ross picked up the win in that one over Jesse Crane. And Brian Fuentes, his 4th save of the year. Travis Snider trying to add to this 2-0 lead. Backs away on a fastball up and in. Dangerous pitch at 94 miles an hour. Underway, it's Cleveland at the Angels, and the Indians just keep on scoring runs. They lead 4-0 in the 3rd inning. Home runs is Drupal Cabrera, his 4th on the year. Matt Laporta adds number 2. And that's everything going on in the American League. 2-2 the count. Hernandez set. Spins and fires to first base. Diving back in safely, Aaron Sevilla. From the National League, on that Home Hardware Sports Net out-of-town scoreboard. One final in, the Rockies win at New York with the Mets going down 7-6. Troy Tulowitzki and David Wright each with home runs, and in each case number 2 on the year. Matt Belisle wins his 2nd. The 2-2 pitch, tap foul at the plate. The curveball handled with just a piece by Snider. Houston Street now has 5 saves for the Rockies, who are now 7-2 on their start. The Cubs are at the Astros. They're through 8 innings. And it's a 5-4 Cubs lead over the Astros. Ryan Dempster started 0-2 for Chicago. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball right side, slowly hit. Jack Wilson comes on. He'll get an out at second base, but scoring on the fielder's choice is Aaron Hill. And the Blue Jays now take a 3-0 lead early here in Seattle against Felix Hernandez.
Well, what a great at-bat for Travis to get the run batted in, battling one of the game's greatest pitchers.
It really is a heck of something that Travis has done a nice job with. Like Aaron Hill, the batting average numbers for the 2 players, not where they'd like right now, but eventually getting jobs done. So 2 outs, a runner at first, 2 runs in here in the inning. There's a strike on the outside edge to Edwin Encarnacion, who hung out a double, a line shot over the left fielder's head in the 2nd inning. Nice job by Jack Wilson as well on this slowly hit ground ball on the right side to turn and get that lead out at second base. Turning and firing to first now is Hernandez.
And Alan, here's how costly that play not made was. Bautista caught in the rundown. They let him end up at second rather than getting him out. There was a strikeout, then a double and a single that did not produce a run. Snyder's ground ball right there ends the inning without the misplay, and the Blue Jays don't score.
It's a scoreless ball game if the defense is being played by a good major league team. Fastball misses inside. 1-1 the count on Edwin Encarnacion. Yeah, there's no question. And I have played with some pitchers who rightly so have come back to the dugout and lit up their teammates. Hernandez set. There goes the runner from first. The pitch is low. The throw to second. Perfect. And they get him. So Travis Snider caught stealing on a perfect throw from the knees by Miguel Olivo. That'll do it for the Blue Jays in the 3rd inning, but they pick up a pair, a gift pair, as Jerry's talking about that poor defense from these Mariners. 2 runs, 3 hits, and they leave nobody. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jays on top of the M's, 3-0. Our game brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. It's a 3-0 Blue Jays lead. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jesse Litch still getting in the warm-up tosses. Higgins and Milton Bradley. And a reminder, fans, to gear up for this 2011 season with At Bat for your BlackBerry, iPad, or iPhone. Listen live to radio broadcasts and receive batter-by-batter information for every game. At Bat 2011 allows you to customize the app to receive Blue Jays-specific news and alerts. Visit BlueJays.com for your details. So Ichiro will stand Aaron Hill in the 1st inning, so 1-for-1 on his night. And really, the news ready to go in the first pitch of the inning. Fastball runs to the inside corner for a called strike. A reminder, Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Rogers. Now share your phone data plan across all your devices. Switch and get the data share plan only from Rogers, just as Jerry does. Here's the 0-1. Fastball up and in.
Yeah, I go ape over my app.
Generally speaking, we don't have any room on the desk we work on because of all the electronic equipment Jerry has there. There's a bunt third base side. Foul as Ichiro tries to bunt his way aboard.
Well, that's a challenge, believe me.
Yes, it is. And tonight is no different. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Blue Jays. No runs, 2 hits for the Seattle Mariners, a team that has lost 7 in a row. And in watching them so far this evening, you can see maybe some reasons why. 2 defensive lapses have cost Felix Hernandez 3 runs in this game. The 1-2 pitch up and away. Jesse drops down to 76 miles an hour with this off-speed delivery. Jesse Litch battling out of a tough first inning, yielded back-to-back hits to start the game, and then got out of the inning despite a walk that came later without allowing a single run. Pitch fouled left field side. 2-2 the count now on Ichiro.
And boy, isn't that the truth, Alan? A team hitting .215 with runners in scoring position last 7 games, 197. How critical it was for them to break through in that first inning, and they could not do it.
So they're not getting the job done with the bats clearly. Breaking ball just outside as Ichiro gets away with a close one. It runs full 3-2. And we take another peek back on that Home Hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard. Games underway from the National League. St. Louis at Arizona. It's a 4-1 Cardinals lead over the Diamondbacks. They're in the 5th inning. Pitch is fouled back left side. Cincinnati at San Diego. 2-1 Padres lead in the 4th inning. Matt Latos on the hill. Kind of an enigma for the Padres early this year after a tremendous first half last year. Talk about another guy who had a great first half. Edinson Volquez on the hill for Cincinnati. Here's a ground ball third base side coming on Nix. He'll make the play on a second hop and fires to just get Ichiro speeding down the line. So 1 out, and it doesn't come easy. Jason Nix is a good-looking infielder.
Third baseman, number 9, Sean Figgins.
And tonight you could be seeing a preview of what's to come with Nix at third base and Encarnacion DHing.
For me, it seems a logical decision to go ahead and start letting Edwin DH for a while. See if it works out. Defensively, it's not working out.
No, it isn't.
Sean Figgins comes to the plate and takes outside from Litch.
And then you see the quick footwork there of Nix, which comes naturally to him. He's an infielder. That's the footwork they're trying to manufacture with Encarnacion, and it's not happening on a regular basis.
Litch back to the plate, turning to bunt, and taking inside is Figgins. They've already announced the attendance tonight. Apparently it didn't take long to count the beans. 13,056 on hand.
Well, there's still a lot of trainloads of people coming in when you hear those.
Well, apparently so. I'm going to have to open those gates a little wider as the pitch is down and in. 3-0 the count. So 13,056 on hand.
But having said that, the Blue Jays have had 2 crowds of 11,002. It happens this early in the season on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night.
And it's chilly. Pitch is low. A 4-pitch walk to Figgins comes with 1 out and brings up 3-hitter Milton Bradley. And 7-game losing streaks don't tend to bring a lot of folks to the ballpark.
No.
Left fielder, number 15, Milton Bradley.
So it's Figgins with good speed at first base. Milton Bradley, a strikeout victim, the first of 2 on the night for Jesse, will stand in. Switch hitter, batting left-handed. Litch to the plate. Curveball misses in. The only other game on that scoreboard, the Dodgers at the Giants. And as it normally goes, the Dodgers lead in the 4th inning, 1-0. Clayton Kershaw over Madison Bumgarner.
Excuse me? Well, wait a minute. I heard that.
Here's the 1-0. Breaking ball outside. Snap throw from the knees down to first base by Aaron Sebia. Not in time, but a good delivery there that we saw quite a bit of during the spring. And now Aaron Sebia goes out to the mound.
Well, isn't it nice to talk about Aaron Sebia? Not only this spring, Alan, we saw him work on his defense, and it was very obvious how well he was blocking pitches. He wasn't hitting, but he said, I'm not struggling. Spring training is to do many different things. And he comes into the game hitting .368 with the defensive edge here in his rookie season.
May I say I have been very impressed with Adam Lind. A long season to go. And he acknowledged that to me before the game. He said there's a long ways to go, but he's played well. Aaron Sebia has done the same behind the plate. Here's the 2-0 pitch, fouled third base side.
Those were the two biggest question marks for the Blue Jays, behind the plate and at first base. Basically two rookies when you think about Adam, having not played there since college. They're both hitting above 300. I think that's helped Adam to get into the game defensively as well as just hitting, and Aaron Sebia too. So initially, those questions now have been answered to a degree where they're off to great starts.
At first base. I love what I'm seeing with the game calling from J.P. Arencibia. He's not fastball happy. He's not getting flustered back there, at least seemingly so, trying to call the pitches for his pitching staff, pitch down and in, and it runs to 3-1 now. And I think J.P. Arencibia is ready in terms of game calling to be out there on a regular basis.
And Don Wakamatsu, bench coach, former catchers, helped him a lot. JP always gives credit to him, and Molina, of course, his backup catcher.
One of the finest young men you'll run into. Throw to first base, diving back in is Figgins.
And there's a third catcher who's really been instrumental on Aaron Sebia, and it's the kind of person John Buck is. When John left to go to the Marlins, he called Aaron Sebia and said, when I first came, I got videos of all the starters. Do that this winter so you get a better look at them. He did that, much to his credit.
Now, that's a great story on John Buck. Runner goes, the pitch hit on the ground sharply up the middle. That's a base hit. Figgins won't stop at second. He'll head to third base on a single by Bradley. And now the Mariners, with one out, have runners at first. And
designated hitter, number 29, Jack Huss.
So this ball hit by Bradley sharply, hitting the mound, but just a shot back up the middle. And with Figgins on the move, he saw the ball come off the bat. So one out, and that was Ichiro starting the inning, and very closely coming to almost beating out the ground ball to third base. So a key out. Jack Cusk comes to the plate, doesn't run well, and a guy that Jesse Litch should be thinking about trying to get that ground ball from and maybe get the double play to get out of the inning. Cusk, like Bradley, struck out in the first inning. Litch turns and fires to first base, not in time. Bradley runs well. He has stolen one base in one try this year. For Jack Cusk, that batting average at 182. Litch to the plate, missing low. Arencibia had set up away, the pitch coming back toward the heart of the plate. Litch already with a couple of walks on the evening. And that is a recipe for disaster for Jesse. Right-hander comes set. And the 1-0 off speed, fouled third base side. Jack Cusk, one of those real uppercutters. And he's had plenty of power in the big leagues. He also draws a lot of walks. He's been a guy that comes up with a nice on-base percentage through the years. And yet this year, due to the 188 batting average, the on-base just at 316. He's drawn 6 walks in 32 official at-bats. He hits one in the air, but slicing foul third base side, back to the seats. 1-2 the count. Cusk is a guy who's had strikeout problems through his career. 11 already on the season. Add to that number 12, I believe that is in the first inning. Much like the hitter that follows in the order, Justin Smoke, who comes over from the Texas Rangers. Guys who strike out a lot in the 4 or 5 spots in this order. Here's the 1-2 pitch, way down and in, almost hitting that lead leg of the left-hand hitter.
I think, too, Alan, those strikeouts you talk about, one of the key reasons why Cusk at this point in the season has not hit into a double play, because he hasn't made contact that sufficiently with men on base.
That's actually a good point. Guys who hit into double plays generally are putting the ball in play. 2-2 pitch, instead spinning toward third and then back to first is Jesse Litch. A move we're seeing more and more with this Blue Jays pitching staff this year. And, of course, the classic balk call from the fans. Three 0 Jays. Litch trying to keep it right here in the third inning. He comes set, and the pitch changed in the dirt. Nice job by Aaron Sevia getting down to keep it in front. So it runs full 3-2. Now we'll see if Milton Bradley at first base gets his green light.
That was a pretty good take, too, by a strikeout-prone hitter, Jack Cust.
On that changeup that starts at the knees as a hitter. It looks like the fastball. It looks like it might start as a strike. And the tendency is to swing at it. So 3-2 the count. Jesse comes set. Runner doesn't go from first, pitch in the dirt and taken again by Cust. He draws the third walk issued by Jesse Litch, and that'll load him up for Justin Smoke.
First baseman, number 17, Justin Smoke.
And that'll bring out Bruce Walton, the pitching coach for the Blue Jays. He jogs on out to the mound as the infield now will start to gather at the hill. Again, 3 walks for Jesse, 2 coming here in this third inning after getting the lead out. And not the recipe for success, especially when spotted. A 3-0 lead early. A lead that might not have been easy to anticipate against Felix Hernandez. So the meeting breaks up. Everybody heads back to their spot. Biggins the runner at third, Bradley at second, Cust at first base. Justin Smoke drew the other walk that came in the first inning. Big left-hand hitter. And another possibility for the double play ground ball. The infield shifts around a bit to the right side. That leaves Escobar playing behind the runner at second, Bradley, and fairly near the bag. First pitch, off speed, missing up and away. So Jesse Litch really having to battle here in the first and third innings. He had a very comfy 1-2-3 second inning. From the stretch, he brings the 1-0. Little slider right through the heart of the plate for a called strike. So Justin Smoke maybe takes the pitch he would like to see again. Smoke hitting just 2 1/4 as he stands in, yet to homer on the year. Takes a slider outside. 2-1 the count.
That's a pretty big pitch, too, for Jesse, missing there and giving Smoke an opportunity. This has really been a struggle for Litch just to try and get a couple of ground balls. He only has 3 to this point in the game.
Jesse has a tendency of leaving so many pitches up through the plate that he doesn't get as many ground balls as I think he's capable of. 2-1 pitch, backdoor slider, and perfectly delivered. It's a called strike and a 2-2 count now.
And then you see a team struggling like the Mariners, and the walks just give them opportunities with 1 hit to cash in.
Smoke has 13 home runs on his brief career at this point. That in just 109 games coming in. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball fouled left side, and this slider left up in the strike zone. Maybe even too high to be called a strike. So Jesse is missing up quite a bit. When he's down, he's missing in the dirt here in this third inning. Maybe Jesse Litch has to feel fortunate with some of these pitches left up and through the plate that he's not seeing any runs on the board yet for the M's. 3-0 Blue Jays. And now stepping out is Smoke after Jesse takes a bit too long. Litch continues it from the stretch. A long look in to get the sign from Aaron Sevia. And now Jesse steps off the rubber. He wants JP to come out to the mound, so they'll meet and talk things over. Sometimes, and for most pitchers, there's generally only 3, maybe max 4 options in terms of pitches, but the location becomes the other option. and the two just don't hook up on one or the other, and it's usually that location. Counted 2-2. Jesse's set and brings it to Smoke, down and in with that slider. And so now it runs full 3-2, and Jesse has really dug himself a hole.
Kind of interesting that Smoke has been late on Litch's pitches, fouling him off to the left, and yet the infield is shifted up the middle with a little bit of a gap there on the left-hand side.
And some guys will hit to left as a left-hand hitter in the air, but hit to the right side on the ground. That could be the case for Smoke. He swings and offers on a slider down and in the dirt, and swings through it. So a key second out here in this third inning. Strikeout number 3 for Jesse Litch on a slider in the dirt, and not even close to the strike zone. This one almost hitting the back foot. And to be clear, if this had hit the back foot or leg, with that swing it wouldn't have mattered. It would still be strike 3.
That is such a crucial at-bat there, to not take your walk, bring in a run, and to strike out, and now give Litch one out to come out of the inning.
Boy, for Eric Wedge, the skipper of the Mariners, he's got to be really scratching his head trying to figure out what to do next. So 2 outs, curveball, a hanger right through the heart of the plate, taken for a strike by Miguel Olivo with the bases still loaded. I mean, right down the middle with a hanger, and Olivo takes it. Jesse Litch needs one more big out here in this third inning. He works from the stretch and brings the 0-1. Breaking ball hit in the air to left field and deep. Snyder going back, has room right at the edge of the track, and he'll make the catch. And Jesse Litch wiggles out of this third inning. No runs a hit. There were 2 walks, and they leave 3. We go to the fourth. It's Toronto 3 and Seattle nothing. Our game brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. Nothing Blue Jays. We go to the fourth inning. Leading it off, Edwin Encarnacion, 1 for 1 on the night. He takes a breaking ball for a called strike from Felix Hernandez. It was Encarnacion at the plate when Travis Snyder was caught stealing. 2-4 to end the third inning. Edwin on the 0-1 sees another curveball bend through for a called strike. So 0-2. Encarnacion hung out a line shot, one hopping the wall in left field for a double in the second inning. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Slider lined into left. So Encarnacion 2 for 2 tonight against Felix Hernandez. And a great job on a tough slider down and away.
Isn't it funny how it goes? Young Adam Lind needs to play defense to improve his offense, and he does. And you almost get the feeling the reverse is true for Encarnacion. If you take him off the field where he doesn't have to think about playing third base, he's going to be a better hitter.
You would think from what we've seen that probably takes some heat off of Edwin.
Yes, and he's an older player, unlike Adam, so he fits that DH role.
Jason Nix at the plate, backs away and takes a fastball inside. One defensive change for these M's. Luis Rodriguez is now the third baseman early in the game, and a key play for Seattle. A line drive hit to third, and I mean really scalded to third base off the bat of Jason Nix. Left Sean Figgins falling to his left and taking the line drive off his wrist. Here's a line shot to left, and this will drop for a hit and go to the wall. And Encarnacion digs for third. He'll be held there as the throw comes back in quickly. A solid double for Jason Nix. Back-to-back hits for the Jays here in the fourth inning. Runners at second and third for the top of the order. Junel Escobar will stand in.
Alex Anthopoulos, the young GM, is here. Talked to him before the game. He just flew in from Toronto. Talk about another steal. Jason Nix is in the Cleveland spring training camp. They don't necessarily want him. So for cash, he comes over in a pinch to help out. And now he's made a statement that he wants to stay for a long time.
Yeah, the word just comes in on Sean Figgins, and we are right. We call it the wrist. They're calling it the base of the left thumb. Either way you look at it, he got hit by that line drive, and had to come out of play. Fastball's inside on Escobar, and Olivo had thoughts of firing down to third base, eventually hung on. So with Escobar at the plate, that means Corey Patterson waits in the on-deck circle, and the Home Hardware on-deck circle brought to you by Home Hardware and the Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners. The 1-0 waving through on the slider is Escobar. It's 1-1.
And remember, Alan, it was because of the injury to Corey Patterson that made Jason Nix sought out, and so they bring him in just to get another position player so Mike McCoy could play the outfield, and you end up with the best of both worlds, both in the same lineup tonight.
Nix is going to play himself into an everyday position the way he's playing. Pitch in the dirt, gets by Olivo, and the runners will move up, scoring from third, Encarnacion, and that'll make it a 4-0 lead. It's a wild pitch, but again, a job not done by the catcher, Miguel Olivo. As he slides out to his right, the glove comes up and the ball squirts right on through the wickets. So the defense has just destroyed Felix Hernandez here this evening. All 4 runs to this point, you could say, don't belong on the board, and yet there they are. So the runner at third, still nobody out, and a 2-1 count. Pitch fouled off the first base side.
On television, they've shown Hernandez with that right wrist and kind of moving it back and forth, the suspicion being that maybe he's not right.
You know, he may not feel like he belongs on the mound with the defense behind him here tonight. Here's the 2-2 curveball up and in. That'll fill it on Junel Escobar. 1 for 2 on his night. He had a first inning single.
3+ innings and 75 pitches for Hernandez. So you know he's certainly not at the top of his game. His game is much better than that.
Well, it's also a Blue Jays order tonight that's doing a nice job taking pitches out of the strike zone. Here's the 3-2 fastball hit in the air to center field and plenty deep to score Nix from third. Catch is made in center by Saunders, tagging easily and coming to the plate. Nix, and a 5-0 Blue Jays lead on a sac fly for Junel Escobar.
Center fielder Corey Patterson.
For Escobar, 5 RBIs now. And boy, the Jays offense taking advantage of every possibility.
Travis Snyder drives in a run with a ground ball. Now the club's 8th sacrifice fly to tie the major league mark early on. The Cincinnati Reds have 8 as well.
Patterson stands in, first pitch swinging, sees the curveball, and hangs it out for a base hit to right field. So Felix Hernandez getting roughed up a bit here. That's the 3rd hit here in the 4th inning. And on the night, 9 for the Blue Jays. You provide extra out possibilities, and it really puts the heat on a pitcher. Felix Hernandez came into play tonight pitching very well despite a mediocre 1-1, 1-loss record. Patterson at first bluffs as the pitch comes to the plate, and now going back quickly to first base, Patterson, as Olivo snaps the throw down there. The pitch called a ball by the home plate umpire tonight. That is Scott Barrett. Patterson took about 3 or 4 strides considering running and then shut it down quickly. Hernandez to the plate, pitch grounded left side. That'll find the hole. That's the 4th hit of the inning against Felix Hernandez. That is something you won't hear much said with Hernandez on the hill over the course of an entire season. So Jose Bautista, his 2nd hit of the night.
Baseman Adam Lind.
He has also drawn a walk.
Tell you what has to be deflating among many things tonight for the Mariners. If you're trying to stop a 7-game losing streak and you start the year 2-0 and then you drop 7 in a row, who best to stop that but Felix Hernandez? And tonight, he's behind 5-0, having given up 10 hits, and now some activity behind him in the bullpen. Aaron Laffey, the left-hander.
That was kind of the theme coming out of Anaheim, that the Blue Jays needed to win Game 2 because they knew they were stacked up against a couple of very tough pitchers, Jared Weaver and then Felix Hernandez, and now they break out with a 5-0 lead here early against Hernandez. So despite losing 2 out of 3 in Anaheim, a chance to get this turned around. Adam Lind at the plate has struck out twice. He takes a strike on the outside edge. Hernandez checks his runner at second and brings a pitch just off the outside edge. It's 1-1 on Adam.
Last year, Jared Weaver led the league 233 strikeouts, and we saw that yesterday, 15 strikeouts. And Hernandez was second with 232. Now he has 5 tonight, but not nearly as dominant as Weaver was yesterday.
Weaver just absolutely dominated right-hand hitter. The pitch in the dirt. 2-1 the count on Lind. I talked with Adam Lind before the game, and Adam said the angle that Weaver was creating left him throwing right out of that rocky area of the fountain in left center field at Angel Stadium, and he said you just could not pick up the baseball, and that left Lind and Snyder being those 2 left-handed bats that just couldn't see the ball. Hernandez checks his runner at second. That's Patterson. The 2-1 pitch fouled up the third base side.
And as much as that's an advantage for him, and I don't recall Don Drysdale getting hurt a lot in his career either, you wonder if Jared Weaver continues to take that step toward third and throw across his body, if that's going to lead to an injury.
I was listening to one of the, I believe it was coaches yesterday on the bus heading toward the airport talking about that extreme, yes, it was Pat Henkin, about that extreme crossover stride of Jared Weaver. And a lot of people in the game of baseball, I know in my playing days, felt that a pitcher was inclined to hurt his arm in doing so, but there have been players that have gotten, pitchers that have gotten through doing that and done very well and never harmed their arms.
And when B.J. Ryan came to the Blue Jays, he came with the baggage that someday he was going to perhaps need Tommy John surgery because he threw across his body with Baltimore, and why other teams were a little hesitant maybe in getting him, and that's exactly what happened to him.
Yeah, and Ryan's crossover was minute compared to what Weaver has. Fastball down and in. So Lynn sees the count now run full 3-2. We'll see if the Blue Jays, with some speed on the bases, Patterson at second, Bautista at first, have them on the move. Still just 1 out here in this 4th inning. 5-0 Blue Jays. 10 hits against Felix Hernandez. Runners do not go on the pitch to Lynn. Grounded up the middle. Could be 2. Wilson flips to Ryan. On to Smoke, and they turn the double play. So Adam Lind having a tough night. A couple of strikeouts and a ground into double play. That'll do it for the Blue Jays in the 4th inning. But they put 2 more on the board with 4 hits and a sac fly. And they leave a man. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's Toronto 5, Seattle nothing. Our game brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. It's a 5-0 Toronto lead as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Bottom 3 in the order for Seattle. Michael Saunders to lead it off, followed by Brendan Ryan and Jack Wilson. Blue Jays continuing on this 10-game, 11-day road trip.
Michael Saunders.
Saunders comes to the plate. The Blue Jays have 3 here in Seattle, then head on to Boston, where Thursday's an off day, and then 4 games with the Red Sox through and over the weekend on into Monday. But then it's back home time. The Yankees come in April 19th and 20th. That's Tuesday and Wednesday next week, followed by Tampa Bay's Rays the 22nd, 3rd, and 4th. 416-341-1234, the number to call to make your plans to join us. Here's a towering fly ball into left field. Coming on is Travis Snyder, staring up into that sky, and makes the catch. 1 pitch and 1 out for Jesse Litch. Something Jesse should be very happy about.
The shortstop, number 26, Brendan Ryan.
Always want to remind you the other way to do it on those tickets to join us at the Rogers Center online at BlueJays.com. You can print them yourself. You don't have to mess with the ugly lines, and come on out and enjoy good Blue Jays baseball. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 5 runs, 10 hits for the Blue Jays. No runs, 3 hits for Seattle in the first of 3. And on paper, the toughest of the 3, with Felix Hernandez on the hill, last year's Cy Young Award winner. First pitch from Litch, a fastball taken for a strike by the shortstop. Brendan Ryan flied to right field in the 2nd inning. Litch back to the plate. High fastball, a swing and a miss. Jesse gets in front. 0-2. Couple of pitches. Fastballs left up. Waiting on deck, it's second baseman Jack Wilson. Litch back to the plate. Another fastball even higher, misses. So 1-2 the count. Brendan Ryan hitting 136. Another pitch left up, misses inside. It's 2-2 now for Jesse. Like with JoJo Reyes, Jesse Litch falls into that pattern of leaving a lot of pitches up. And in each case, it can be the end of their nights very quickly. Here's a shot into left field. Solid base hit for Brendan Ryan. Comes with one out. Huge turn at first as Travis Snyder gets it back in quickly. So Ryan hustling all the way. Has a single. It brings up the 9-hitter Jack Wilson.
Second baseman, number 2, Jack Wilson.
Jack Wilson is the one guy in this batting order who is able to write home, even make calls home these days in terms of his batting average. With the 0-for-1 night, he's hitting .316. It took a very nice play by Adam Lind on a poor throw by Jesse Litch in the second inning to get Jack Wilson as the pitch is tapped foul at the plate. Litch had a little slow comebacker to the mound. He took his time and then lobbed to first and lobbed one in the dirt. And first baseman will tell you that is really the tough one to come up with. There's not much on the throw to stick in the glove, but Adam Lind picked it beautifully. Lind holds at the bag on Ryan as Litch comes set. And the pitch to the plate, fouled down the first base side, back to the seats. 0-2 the count.
That foul ball went down the right field line, and here at the dome of the Safeco Field, it's a retractable dome to be sure, there's a rolled up tarp down the right field line. Now that's a little of an anomaly, isn't it?
Yeah, what do you need the tarp for when you can roll out the roof here? We have the top popped rather, as Jesse Litch lobs the throw over to first base. Ryan back to the bag.
And even if it started to rain now, the roof closes quickly. So we'll have to ask the groundskeeper, Bob Christofferson, a good friend, why they have a tarp here.
Yeah. 0-2 the count. Pitch, a little cutter just off the outside edge. Very close, and a quality pitch there from Jesse.
I got a kick out of going to Anaheim for their home opener the other day. The last time they had a home opener rained out was 1965, and they were playing at Dodger Stadium.
I didn't realize either one of those Southern California teams, or I should say L.A. area teams, have had an opener rained out before. Here's a little half swing ground ball foul first base side. Yeah, I would have guessed no on that one.
I know, but every now and then it does rain in Southern California.
San Diego Padres had a game delayed by rain just in the past week.
And suspended and made up as part of a really doubleheader the next day to finish that one first.
I think they had maybe multiple delays and they got into extra innings and had to suspend that on into the next day. 1-2 the count. Litch to the plate. Fastball line to right field. Coming over and in. Bautista makes a sliding catch just above the grass. So Jose Bautista, for the second time now in the last couple of ball games, making a fine play, coming in and robbing a hitter of a would-be base hit. A little bit awkward on that slide into right center for Bautista. You have to wonder if he was battling the lights once again.
Players always enjoy watching ESPN. They have the web gems, 10 of them. And the other day, Jose's great diving catch was web gem number 9, I think. Well, he's got a chance to maybe be on there tonight when he gets back to his hotel room.
Thing is that most of those who put those plays on TV don't know how difficult that is when you're battling lights. You can't really say he absolutely did, but based on the way he went down with the body, I would say that was a tough one in the lights. Ichiro stands in, takes a ball, 1-0 the count. Still at first base is Brendan Ryan. And the pitch to Ichiro, off-speed delivery, taken for a strike. That body of Ichiro as a left-hand hitter falling off to the first base side, but he keeps the front hip closed. And in doing so, it leaves his hands staying back. And it doesn't seem to matter how much body movement he has. As long as those hands stay back, he's fine. The runner goes from first, pitch a strike, the throw in the dirt, and goes on by second into center field. Digging for third is Brendan Ryan. He'll make it. Aaron Hill with a great diving effort back of the bag. Had the ball kicked into and off the glove. So it's a stolen base for Ryan and an E2 charge to J.P. Arancibia. It is the first stolen base on the year for Ryan. Good pitch to throw on for J.P. A fastball outside edge and about waist high. But that throw nonetheless bouncing into the bag. So now runner at third, but 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Jesse Litch has had to battle here this evening, but holds a 5-0 lead. Ichiro swings and flares one foul third base side. 1-2 the count. One of the game's greats through the years, Ichiro Suzuki, still has all the same mannerisms he brought from Japan. Fastball inside. 2-2 the count. Seldom now is Jesse Litch finding that fastball down around the knees at all. Mariners now with 4 hits against Jesse. The Blue Jays with 10 tonight. Ichiro grounds one first base side foul right on by Adam Lind and the first base coach Mike Brumley. Ichiro 1 for 2 on the night. Had a first inning single, hitting .263 as he stands in. No homers on the young season. 4 RBIs. Still plays right field with the best of them. He takes down and in. So that fills it 3-2. Luis Rodriguez, who came on for Sean Figgins, waits on deck. Ichiro with just 1 extra base hit on his season swings and fouls it back to the screen. He has picked up 1 double in 38 official at-bats. Ichiro just poses with that bat pointed somewhat out toward the field. He takes a breaking ball up and away, not even close from Jesse. It's a 2-out walk, and now the 4th walk of the night issued by Litch. That'll put runners at the corners. And plenty of speed with Ichiro at first as Luis Rodriguez comes to the plate.
Luis Rodriguez.
You wonder if that was a pretty good walk. Sometimes you look at the walks total and they're not always that bad. Here's Luis Rodriguez comes off the bench for an injured player. He's certainly not the hitter Suzuki is, and we'll see what Jesse does with him.
Yes, you would much rather face a Luis Rodriguez than an Ichiro. Of course, Ichiro not a big RBI man for Seattle. He has a huge lead, though, at first base, held on by Adam Lind. Litch comes set, brings it to the plate. Curveball is up and away and not even close. Jesse had a sharp second inning, a 1-2-3 frame, but other than that, he has had to scrap and battle away for every out he's gotten to this point. Ichiro leads from first. Jesse back to the plate. Here's a tapper foul right at the plate off the body of Rodriguez. Left-hand hitter.
And even in that 1-2-3 inning, the first 2 outs were line drives to left and right. So he could have been in a jam there as well.
I think the reality is, and a lot of times, having played with many a pitcher who'd get done with his night and say, well, I made 2 mistakes all night long, is that they don't really look at the location of a lot of pitches they throw. And Jesse might have that need to do so. He brings one close down and in for a ball. It's 2-1. But when you're getting outs or foul balls or taken strikes on pitches that are mid-thigh on up to the top of the strike zone through the heart of the plate, you do that a lot, and you're very fortunate to still be on the hill. Litch turns and fires to first base. Diving back in is Ichiro.
And you don't hear a lot of grousing from either manager in the dugouts with Scott Berry, young umpire behind the plate. But Jesse's at 94 pitches here in the fourth inning, and Felix is pushing that mark as well.
Well, for me, it has felt like a real battle for Jesse. Despite no runs for Seattle, another throw to first base, and again, diving in safely is Ichiro. He does get this fastball down. It's a 2-1 count on Rodriguez. Sean Figgins went 1 for 1 with a walk and had to be removed with that line drive hitting him just at the base of the left thumb as he completely whiffed. Here's a drive deep to center field. Moving back with plenty of room is Corey Patterson, calling off Bautista. Patterson makes the catch, and that'll do it for the M's in the fourth inning. And Jesse Litch continues to shut down Seattle. No runs, a hit. There was a walk. They leave a pair. We go to the fifth. Jerry's back at the mic. And it's Toronto 5, Seattle nothing. Our game brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network.
Northwood Mortgage. There are so many mortgage options, but if you don't call Northwood Mortgage, you'll be making a huge mistake.
Aaron Hill starts the fifth inning, pops up the pitch from Felix Hernandez in foul ground at first, taken. Foul by about 3 feet by first baseman Justin Smoke. And just like that, we enter the fifth inning. The Blue Jays ahead of the Mariners 5-0. Our game recaps this year brought to you by Super 8 Worldwide. Visit super8.ca. With that foul out, Aaron is 1 for 3. And he's a big part of the reason why the Blue Jays have 5 runs on 10 base hits. The Blue Jays scored a run in the second inning to take an early 1-0 lead. The batter here is J.P. Arencibia, right-handed hitter against the tall right-handed Venezuelan Hernandez. The pitch up and in, ball one. Jason Nix lined one off the thumb. There's a ball driven to left field down the line. That's hooking, and with an accentuated hook now, it goes foul. Second inning, Nix lined one to the left of third baseman Sean Figgins. He kind of overdove a little bit, and the ball hit him on the thumb. It ricocheted, the ball ricocheted off his thumb and went down the left field line as a run scored. An RBI base hit as it was scored. Travis Snyder coming in from third, and the Blue Jays had a 1-0 lead. Arencibia takes outside 2-1. Then in the third, the Blue Jays added 2 more. Hill doubled and later driving in a run, and later scored on Snyder's ground ball. It made it 3-0 into 3. Swing and a miss, 2-2. So there was Hill, the centerpiece of a 2-run, 3-hit rally with the RBI double and runs scored. And then 2 more in the fourth, a wild pitch and a sacrifice fly off the bat of Junel Escobar made it 5-0, and that's the score here in Seattle in the fifth. The foul behind home plate keeps Arencibia up there. JP has struck out and single to right. Jerry Howarth along with Alan Ashby and Tom Young here at Pretty Safeco Field in Seattle. Mike Wilner and Dylan Brown back in our Toronto studios. Middle part of the game, game 1 of 3 here before the Blue Jays head for Boston. Hernandez curveball fouled off third base side. Litch has gone through 4 innings. He left the bases loaded in the first, left the bases loaded in the third, left 2 on in the fourth. He's thrown nearly 100 pitches. 2-2 pitch fouled off third base side into the Blue Jays dugout. That almost got trainer George Poulos and trainer Hap Hudson, and Hudson's not too happy. That's where the players there were almost ready to take care of the trainers. 2-2 delivery, swinging a line drive, 1 hop to short, taken by Brendan Ryan. Throw it across the first, 2 down.
That's where the players tell the trainers to rub some dirt on it and be a man.
Yeah, like we are.
Travis Snyder.
That's a pretty good at-bat for Arencibia, battling all the way and hitting the ball crisply like that.
That was a good at-bat.
Now Snyder up. Travis has walked and scored and had a ground ball that drove in a run. So a very productive evening for the young left-handed hitter born right here in Seattle. This is his first time coming home to play. The last 2 years, he's either been sent down or had an injury. The pitch is outside. On Wednesday, for the day game, just before we get to the starting lineups, we'll hear from Travis about coming home here and playing here when he was in high school for the state championship. He bounces one down to second, Wilson to Smoke, and with that, the inning is over. What? A 1-2-3 inning? Yes. We go to the bottom of the fifth inning. Blue Jays 5, the Mariners nothing. Brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. Action brought to you by Rogers, a proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays 5, Mariners nothing. Bottom of the fifth inning. Seattle coming up. Milton Bradley, a switch hitter, batting left-handed. The veteran and left fielder takes outside ball one from right-hander Jesse Litch. Bradley has struck out and singled to center. He takes a strike, 1-1. Hitting in a cleanup spot right behind him, DH Jack Cust, and then Justin Smoke. Litch deals. Line drive caught by Litch, and he had to put the glove up to avoid getting hit. What reactions from Jesse Litch, and that's why he is regarded as one of the fine young fielding pitchers in the game, and there he needed it for self-preservation. Wow. That ball was hit just to, as he was looking at, just to the left of his face. He just thrust up the glove and caught it. So with that, one down, and here is Jack Cust. Litch with his 99th pitch. It's inbound, and it's grounded out to second. Charged by Nix, who's on the shift on the right side. He makes the play to first. Nice job. That's going to be scored numerically 5-3. The third baseman is 5 in that scoring sequence. But he makes the play as if a second baseman. So 2 outs, and Litch needed to make that catch and get a quick first pitch out here. He's thrown 99 pitches. To qualify for a win, you have to go 5 innings as a starter, and the speculation was it might not be easy for him coming into this fifth inning, what with his 8 men left on over the first 4. Well, he's not through yet. He does have 2 outs, however, for switch hitter Justin Smoke, who right now has the biggest at-bat tonight for the Mariners as he takes ball one. He was up with the bases loaded and 1 out. There's a swing and a miss. That was in the third inning. The Blue Jays were ahead 3-0. And on a slider in the dirt, he struck out. And it really was not one of those pitches that went from a strike to a ball. It went from a ball to a ball, and he still swung and missed. Miguel Olivo flied out, and that left the bases loaded. The Mariners did not score. Litch is low, 2-1. So Smoke up here awaits the 2-1 offering inside. 3 balls and 1 strike. David Percy, the tall left-hander, getting loose in the Blue Jays bullpen in left center field. What with Litch's pitch count at 103, and it's been a struggle. The pitch, swing and a miss. 3-2. John Farrell on the manager's show was talking about the pitch count, and he said it's okay unless you have to really see a lot of strain and stress to try to get through innings, and Litch has certainly had to do that here tonight. 3-2 pitch. Fly ball left field. Hit pretty deep. Back goes Travis Snyder. Track. Wall. Jumps. It's off the top of the fence. Base hit. Did not leave the yard. Travis picks it up. Smoke is in at second base with a 2-out double. And Litch is not home yet to qualify for a possible win. Smoke just missed a home run. Now the Mariners have hit only 4. Smoke has not hit one yet. And when Travis jumped, it hit on the yellow band that goes right across the top of that green wall. Miguel Olivo up. He left the bases loaded, grounding out to first in the first, and he flied out to left field, leaving the bases loaded in the third. So as he takes ball one outside, he is 0 for 2 and has left 6 men on. He's got another man in scoring position here with 2 outs in the Mariners' fifth, down 5-0 to the Blue Jays. Smoke the lead at second base. The 1-0 pitch is high. Now here comes pitching coach Bruce Walton to try and help coax Litch through this fifth inning. As we said, John Farrell does not want to come out and take him out and rob him of the opportunity of trying to win a ball game. But right here in this inning, when that first hitter, Milton Bradley, lined one right back toward the head of Litch and he caught it, that's crucial, or he might not be in the game right now.
Yeah, the thing for Jesse, though, that just so many what hitters would call hittable pitches. And love to see this guy succeed, because at times in the past when he has kept the ball down, he's shown an ability to be a very fine pitcher. But I'm just not consistently seeing that at all right now.
Bruce Walton leaves, goes to the third base dugout. 2-0 the count on Olivo. Smoke at second, 2 outs. He's low, ball 3. Now on deck is the left-handed hitting Michael Saunders. So here Bruce Walton might have gone out and said, Jesse, to stay in the game, you have to get this right-handed hitter. 3-0 pitch, swing and a miss. He got the green light, and as he swung and missed, he bicycled down the first base line. Not a great cut on that pitch.
Boy, that's hard to figure. You're trailing 5-0. A guy who's already walked 4 hitters on the night has a 3-0 count, and you're swinging if you're Miguel Olivo.
And it wasn't a good swing.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense.
Litch set. 3-1 offering. Swing and a miss on a fastball. 3-2.
Yeah, if it was a guy that has put up big numbers year after year, if it's Jose Bautista, Adam Lynn, I'll grant it. You're trying to pick up a 2-run home run, but it seems odd.
So Jesse has got a 3-2 count here on Olivo, trying to get him for a third time tonight. He's ready. And here he comes. Hit it if you can. A swing and a miss on a fastball. He struck him out. And Litch has gone 5 scoreless innings, allowed 5 base hits, and Olivo slams his bat into the ground. And you can imagine why. He has left 7 men on here tonight, ending the first, third, and now 5th innings. Wow. Through 5, Toronto 5, the Mariners nothing. Brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. The next Junior Jays Saturday is April the 23rd. The Blue Jays host the Tampa Bay Rays, a 1:07 start. Kids 14 and under to receive 50% off tickets to all Saturday home games, 200 and 500 level outfield seats only. So call the Blue Jays, or if you're online, bluejays.com, a way to get your tickets, or most Rogers Plus locations. Now that's the main way to get Junior Jays tickets on Saturday. And you can also catch Phil Maine weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on CKNX AM 920 in Wingham. We go to the 6th inning. 5-0 Blue Jays. Felix Hernandez in with a first pitch strike to DH Edwin Encarnacion, who has doubled and singled and scored a run.
You've simply pushed me too far.
Right-handed hitter takes it low from the right-hander, 1-1. Blue Jays a run in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth. And the Mariners nada over 5 against Litch, leaving 9 men on. There's a pitch that misses his own, 2-1. Litch with his 4th strikeout to leave the double on. Encarnacion pops it up right side. Waiting for it, the first baseman Justin Smoke makes the catch, 1 away.
Third baseman Jason Nix.
Now, speaking of strikeouts, coming into play today, the Tampa Bay Rays 1-8. Yesterday saw 8 Rays strike out. That meant that in the first 9 games, the Rays had at least 7 players strike out, at least 7 strikeouts each game for the first 9 games. As a pitch lined softly to left field by Jason Nix. That's a base hit down the line. Picked up by Milton Bradley. He throws it to second on the fly. Back to first goes Nix, and Jason is 3 for 3. A single, a double, and now another single.
So, Jerry, is that what it takes, all those games with at least 7 strikeouts in each game, to set up tonight's game for Tampa Bay where they score 16 runs?
Well, they scored 16 runs, and they only struck out 4 times.
Wow.
So Had they struck out 3 more times, that would have been 10 games with at least 7 strikeouts per game.
They were just setting themselves up for this big one.
Knicks the lead. Junel Escobar, first pitch swing. He hits a fly ball to shallow right. Coming on, Ichiro. He makes the catch. Drifting back to first is Knicks. 2 down. For Junel now, 1 for 3, and he drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. But I think, Alan, that points out that the Rays are 2-8 now, even with their win tonight, for a reason. They're not putting a lot of balls in play.
Yeah, maybe susceptible in a number of areas right now.
Evan Longoria is on the disabled list. No Carl Crawford. No Jason Bartlett at shortstop. No Carlos Pena at first. No bullpen. They're a stripped-down version of where they've been the last 3 years, winning 2 division titles and going to a World Series and 3 straight playoff runs, as Corey Patterson takes ball 1.
Yeah, you mentioned Jason Bartlett during the offseason when they lost him, along with all the pitchers. But among the position players, his name wasn't mentioned a whole lot, but I thought that was a costly loss for the Rays.
All that on that Home Hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard. Meanwhile, right here in the 6th inning, Corey Patterson up. He singled sharply to right his last time up. He is 1 for 3. 6th inning, Blue Jays 5, Mariners nothing. Blue Jays have out hit Seattle 11-5. Knicks does not go. A swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Patterson just activated from the 15-day disabled list. To make room for him, pitcher Scott Richmond, who was the insurance policy yesterday for JoJo Reyes, went back to AAA Las Vegas. Today, Rajay Davis placed on the 15-day disabled list with that sore right ankle. Mike McCoy will be here tomorrow. Knicks goes, a pitch by Hernandez, fouled off to the left by Patterson. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Jason Frazier warming up in the Blue Jays bullpen out in left center field. We mentioned the Mariners have activity in their pen as well. Lefty Aaron Laffey, he was up a couple of innings ago. Hernandez is set. There goes Knicks again. 1-2 pitch belted to right field. Back goes Ichiro. Still going back. He turns. There she goes. A 2-run home run for Corey Patterson in his first game ever as a Blue Jay. And with that, the Blue Jays lead 7-0 in Seattle here in the 6th inning.
Didn't do it on a cripple fastball either. He got a breaking ball, as he did with the base hit in the 4th inning, and really hung it out.
So welcome to the Blue Jays, Corey Patterson, whose brother Eric, his younger brother, was just activated from the disabled list as well with the San Diego Padres. The batter now is Jose Bautista, and he takes a strike. Jose has a perfect night. He has walked and singled twice. Strike 1 pitch, a curveball in there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. Well, the King, to this point, it's fair to say, has been dethroned for this evening anyway. He came in with an ERA of 2.25, and that's getting battered and bruised. There's some shoddy defense behind him as well. It all goes part and parcel of a long night for the Mariners, and they've dropped 7 straight coming into the game. Strike 2 pitch outside. Hernandez has thrown 110 pitches. Now, that's the most he's thrown in 3 starts. He threw 108 at Oakland in a complete game gem and threw 107 in his last outing. Swing and a miss. Down goes Bautista on the 111th pitch, and most likely the last for Hernandez here tonight. So a 2-run home run by Corey Patterson makes it Toronto 7, the Mariners nothing, as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network.
Northwood Mortgage. Hi, I'm Ron Hall of Northwood Mortgage. By now you've heard that we can help many.
This inning is brought to you by your Honda dealers. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Blue Jays 7, the Mariners nothing.
The Mariners center fielder Michael Saunders.
Jason Frazier comes out of the bullpen to pick up Jesse Litch. 5 scoreless innings here tonight. Gives up 5 base hits. The Mariners strand 9 men. Litch leaves the bases loaded in the 1st, bases loaded in the 3rd. left 2 on in the 4th, left 1 on in the 5th. He threw 111 pitches, 4 strikeouts, 4 walks, bobbed and weaved his way through the Mariners lineup. He's got a chance to go 2-0 in 2 starts. Michael Saunders, the batter, takes strike 1 called.
Here's the line on Toronto starter Jesse.
Jason Fraser, meanwhile, comes out here 1-1 in 5 games. His ERA 4.15. Very durable reliever. His fastball's in there. Strike 2 called. As Saunders now in a deep hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
4 strikeouts.
Saunders from Victoria, British Columbia. 0 for 2 tonight. Twice he has flied out to left fielder Travis Snyder. The strike 2 pitch inside. Well, you wouldn't have given Litch much of a chance here the way the game started. 2 on, nobody out, first inning to win perhaps his second start in 2 tries.
Now, this is my assessment. It was a struggle for Jesse. And if you had told me that Jesse was going to struggle against Felix Hernandez tonight, I would have said the score would go the other way.
7-0 Seattle.
Absolutely.
Pitches in the dirt. Litch starts with 2 singles he gives up to Ichiro and Figgins. And then he strikes out Bradley and Cuss, the 3 and 4 hitters, walks Smoke, and then kind of a barometer of what was to come, Miguel Olivo grounded out feebly to first, leaving the bases loaded. Olivo flied out the left in the 3rd, leaving the bases loaded, ending that inning. Struck out with a 2-out double on and Smoke in the 5th. 2-2 pitch.
Threw his legs to the backstop. Both called wild pitches that led to some of the struggles for Felix Hernandez tonight.
And then a botched rundown play allowed Bautista to go into second with a stolen base instead of a caught stealing. That helped the Blue Jays score 2 runs in the 3rd. Fastball hit late and foul third base side. So the upshot of it all, the Blue Jays with 12 hits, the Mariners with 5. Patterson with a home run. The Blue Jays did not hit a home run yesterday, nor did they hit one in the 14-inning loss, 6-5. So they're back to what they've done quite frequently to start the year. The home run by Patterson, the club's 11th. Full count pitch. Just below the knees, ball 4, and Saunders draws a leadoff walk here in the 6th. Out of town scoreboard. Texas shut out Detroit 2-0 in the Motor City. So Texas starts the year 9-1. And President Nolan Ryan has to feel pretty good about that start. That's the team, of course, that went to the World Series losing to the Giants. Right-handed hitting Brendan Ryan takes ball 1. And we say that because the Rangers are doing it not just with their bats, and they've always hit home runs. They have the best staff earned run average in baseball coming into play today, 2.48, and they throw a shutout, lowering that. That's Ryan Express stuff. The pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1.
If they do that throughout the year, they will astound so many baseball so-called experts over the course of the year. That was the big question mark about their pitching staff.
Well, they are excelling. Starters, relievers, and an ERA under 2.5 to get it done. And they're 5th in the league in hitting to boot. Half swing going around is Ryan. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
One of the reasons a lot of people feel the Rangers have typically had good hitting teams and poor pitching teams is because of that ballpark. So it's all the more impressive the way they have pitched this year.
That's the best record in baseball, 9-1. So the Rangers shut out the Tigers 2-0. Detroit falls to 3-7 out of the gate. Tampa Bay routed the Red Sox 16-5 at Fenway Park. Fraser's low, 2-2.
I think that's got to be alarming for the Red Sox. Matsui continues to struggle. They have had struggles from other starters, although they're starting to get it turned around with the pitching.
The Red Sox started 0-6. They're now 2-8. So 2-2 over the last 4. And they've had the Yankees and Tampa Bay back-to-back, so that's not easy as well.
I think I said Matsui, Matsuzaka.
The 2-2 pitch, very high. The Blue Jays 7, the Mariners nothing. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning at Safeco Field. Roof roll back. Adam Lind holds on the runner, Saunders, with nobody out. Ryan has flied out to right and singled left. He chokes up about an inch and a half. There goes the runner, Saunders. The pitch, strike three called. The throw by Aaron Seavey on a bounce, not in time, as short hop by Junel Escobar, stolen base for Saunders, but now one out.
Do you remember that very same throw from Jose Molina a couple of days ago with John McDonald at shortstop? Johnny Mac went to his knees, able to go down and meet that one hop and snap immediately the throw down and got their man. In this case, Junel stood up, and it actually kind of backed him on his heels a little bit as the glove came up. At that point, you have no chance.
So with that one out, Jack Wilson, the ninth hitter, comes up, right-handed hitting second baseman, 0-4-2. Last time a blind one into right center field. Jose Bautista went over, made a beautiful diving catch. Razor's in low. The ball taken right out of the dirt, blocked nicely by Aaron Seavey. It's ball one. In Chicago, Oakland edged the White Sox 2-1. The A's haven't been hitting as well either, but with their great pitching, and especially with the young starters, the A's are 5-5 with the win. Chicago falls to 6-4. The A's have the youngest pitching rotation in baseball, and the Blue Jays have the second youngest rotation. And when Brandon Morrow joins the rotation, it'll just flip. Blue Jays with the youngest and Oakland second. Razor misses outside, 2-0.
So youth can be really good, because in each case you're talking about very fine pitching staffs.
Yeah, the A's and Blue Jays, if you look at pitching, it portends well for their futures. We'll look back at second at Saunders. Razor with a fastball strike, 2-1. Elsewhere on that home hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard, top of the ninth inning in Anaheim, Cleveland has a 4-0 lead over the Angels. How about Cleveland? They're 7-2, a chance to win 8 of their first 10 if they can hold on there. The Angels just took 2 out of 3 against the Blue Jays. The Angels 5-4. Fastball swung on and missed. 2-2 the count.
Well, if the Indians keep playing baseball anywhere near the way they've played to start the season, Manny Acta is my manager of the year.
The Cubs edge Houston 5-4 in Houston at Minute Maid Park. So the Astros fall to 2-8 to begin the year. Here's a 2-2 breaking ball. Bounced weakly to third. Charged by Jason Nix. Gloves it. Throws off balance beautifully to get him. To third comes Saunders. That's how you make that play.
We have not seen a lot of games with Jason Nix at third base, but what we have seen, he has been just spectacular.
And there, Alan, too, as you've often referred to, use the gloved hand right there rather than trying to barehand.
Don't make that silly mistake. Make the play solid with that transfer to the right hand. And Nix really looks like a fine athlete making these plays.
Today went into the clubhouse and handed Jason the New York Times sports section, said, "Did you see this?" He said, "No." And I opened it up, and there was a picture of his brother Lance yesterday hitting a 3-run home run in extra innings for the game-winning swing for the Washington Nationals. Pretty nice. Here's Ichiro. Fastball inside, ball one.
Jason's thinking to himself, I remember when he was just a twerp at home.
And actually, Jason was the twerp.
Well, he was the younger of the two, but that doesn't mean the older brother can't be a twerp.
7-0 Blue Jays here in the Seattle sixth inning. A runner at third, 2 outs for Seattle. Ichiro hits a high fly ball to the left. Down the line, it's in fair territory. The shortstop's there, and making the backhand catch is third baseman Jason Nix. He outruns Junel Escobar to get to the ball and retire the side. What a game he's having. He's making an imprint, you can bet, on manager John Farrell. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network.
Seattle turns to the bullpen. They bring in left-hander Aaron Laffey to start this 7th inning. He'll face Adam Lind, Aaron Hill, and J.P. Arencibia. Laffey, a left-hander. And there's a winner in our VTech Call to the Bullpen contest. Listen at the conclusion of our game tonight for all of the winners of a VTech 2-handset cordless answering system featuring a cordless headset or hands-free conversations. 7 runs, 12 hits, and error for the Blue Jays. No runs, 5 hits, and no errors for Seattle. Lynn swings on the first pitch, grounds one sharply to the mound, but Laffey on it quickly, throws out Lynn. 1 pitch, 1 out, and Adam Lynn now 0 for 4 on his night.
Second baseman Aaron Hill.
That'll bring up Aaron Hill, who's 1 for 3. Aaron had a key RBI double in the 3rd inning. That made it 2-0 Jays at the time. They have not looked back. Aaron came around and scored the 3rd run in that 3rd inning. Key play is Jose Bautista was picked off dead to rights and eventually wound up safe at second base. Felix Hernandez works just 6 innings, allowing 7 earned runs tonight. I look back in the numbers on Hernandez and actually was a bit surprised as Hill grounds one foul third base side. I thought I might look back on the Cy Young Award year for Hernandez a year ago and not find a single game in which he had given up 7 earned runs. But instead I found 2 last year. The most recent, the 8th of June at Texas against the Rangers. 7 earnings in 6 innings. Here's a pop foul, first base side near the dugout. Smoke gets it on his glove and drops it right at the railing of that dugout. It is an E3 charge to Justin Smoke. The first error charged on the night to Seattle, but it has been a sloppy night overall.
Former catcher Eric Wedge is the manager here in his first year. He's a very intense guy. I have to think he's not too thrilled and might have a closed-door clubhouse meeting after this game.
Bottom line, you never want to lose in professional sports. Slider is low on Hill. 1-2 the count. For a manager, when your defense fails you, it points right to you as the skipper. And you can just imagine how Eric Wedge might be inclined to have the guys out working some extra time. Here's a drive to center field. That'll drive Saunders back. Fine-looking center fielder makes the catch over the shoulder as he drifts to the warning track. 2 up, 2 down for the Jays here in the 7th.
What I'd be curious about, and you've probably already answered this, but can you go back to those numbers? Because when was the last time Felix Hernandez gave up 12 hits in a game?
Yeah, now that I did not find last year, and I'd have to go back and really do a little searching again, but I didn't think I'd find a single blemish of 7 runs over his year, and yet there were 2 of them, one coming real early in the season. J.P. Arancibia stands in 1 for 3 on the night. He had a 3rd inning single. With the 1 for 3 night, Arancibia hitting .364, a couple of home runs. He swings and fouls one first base side.
Hernandez came in with an earned run average of .225 over his first 2 starts. He leaves with a new ERA of exactly 4.5.
Yeah, that's the way the numbers will swing early on in the season. This may be looked back at by a lot of folks as, wow, how did the Blue Jays mount 7 runs against Felix Hernandez when there were no errors charged during those 6 innings? Now that's a little misleading. In fact, I think very misleading, as Arancibia takes inside. 2-1 the count.
Well, we've said before a statistic that is not in the game, but it's called the play not made, and it's crucial to games.
3 runs early against Hernandez didn't belong on the board. Here's a looper going to fist into right field. Base hit for Arancibia, his 2nd on the night. So he stands at first base 2 for 4 as he picks up the 2-out single against left-hander Aaron Laffey.
And the second one of this nature, a little flare to the opposite field.
The other being the pop fly in that 3rd inning that landed
between 3 defensive players. Not a play that was
likely to be made by any Ichiro, Wilson, and Smoke down the right field line, but just a pop fly that dropped for a hit.
It's a funny game, isn't it? Tomorrow, Arancibia is likely to come out and line out 3 times and think about this game.
Yep. You never look back to the ones when you got the cheapies, though. It's always the line drives for outs that are hard to take. Travis Snyder stands in, offers on the high fastball, and fouls it back. Travis 0 for 2 on the night. He's drawn a walk and scored the first run of the night. That came in the 2nd inning. He's also been caught stealing. Laffey to the plate. Breaking ball finds the strike zone. 0-2 on Travis. Travis now hitting .156. His RBI, his 8th of the year, though. He swings and misses on a good breaking ball. Down on strikes is Snyder as Laffey comes on. Tough left-hander to face for Travis. That's the 7th strikeout of a Blue Jays hitter on the night. That does it for the Blue Jays in the 7th. No runs a hit. They leave a man. To the bottom of the 7th inning we go. The Blue Jays lead it 7-0 over Seattle. Our game brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. To the bottom of the 7th inning we go. It's a 7-0 Blue Jays lead here in this first of 3 with the Mariners, a team that has lost 7 straight and pretty much playing like that here this evening. Carlos Villanueva, right-hander, comes on, 3rd pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays to take over. He'll face the 2-3-4 hitters for Seattle, Luis Rodriguez, Milton Bradley, and Jack Cust. And with Luis Rodriguez leading it off, that will mean immediately that on deck is Milton Bradley, and the Home Hardware On Deck Circle is brought to you by Home Hardware and Building Center Locations, homeowners helping homeowners. So Carlos Villanueva, who worked his way onto this club with a nice spring, and he's been good to this point, will face the left-hand hitting Luis Rodriguez to start this 7th inning, trying to protect a 7-0 Toronto lead. 13 hits for the Jays, 5 for Seattle, and 1 error aside. Villanueva to the plate, a breaking ball called a strike.
The line on Toronto pitcher Jason Frazier.
Jason Frazier works a shutout inning. He did walk a man.
1 strikeout. 180 pitch. 1 walk.
And struck out 1.
1 strikeout.
Villanueva to the wind, and the 0-1 curveball is outside. So again, if you're just checking in and you find yourself surprised that the Blue Jays have picked up 7 runs on a night when Felix Hernandez was pitching for Seattle, it's probably a surprise to many a baseball fan. Here's a ground ball foul first base side, but in checking the numbers last year in a great season that brought the Cy Young Award to Hernandez, twice he gave up 7 earned runs in a ball game. Once he gave up 11 hits, twice 10, so only 3 times was he touched for double digits in hits, but never 12 hits as he gave up here this evening. Pitched down in the dirt, 2-2 the count. So a rare night, let's put it that way, for Felix Hernandez. Villanueva stares in. Aaron Sevilla behind the plate this evening. And the 2-2. Off speed in the dirt, and J.P. Arencibia doing a nice job again to keep it in front. Count runs full, 3-2.
Who would have thought that the Blue Jays would come in here having scored a total of 9 runs in 3 games against the Angels and score 7 on one night over 6 innings against Hernandez?
Yeah, and really, you think about it, 2 tough ballparks. Talking to players today, they were talking about how big center and left field played in Anaheim this past week. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch, down on strikes. Is Luis Rodriguez to start things here in the 7th inning.
Well, there's a nice changeup, 81 miles an hour, and Bruce Walton just continues to teach that pitch to his pitchers and gets a lot of mileage from it.
And why not, with the success that Blue Jays pitchers have been having with the changeup, and you see it more and more around Major League Baseball. Successful pitchers often have a very successful changeup. Pitches low on the left-hand hitting Milton Bradley, 1-0.
We're talking to Pat Henkin, and he said he did not have a changeup when he won the Cy Young Award in '96, and then in St. Louis, Dave Duncan helped him work on it. It became a great pitch for him later in his career.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons Dave Duncan has been so successful, is the teaching of that pitch. Here's a swing and a miss. 1-1 now on Milton Bradley. Bradley 1 for 3 on the night. Also lined sharply back to the mound. Quite a play by Jesse Litch in the 5th inning to retire him. Fastball is inside.
That's where the Blue Jays have been fortunate. You remember the line drive that almost hit Brandon Morrow in the face and actually hit him in the shoulder. This one close to Jesse's head. You have to be lucky, too, on some of those line drives right back to the mound.
Changeup hammered deep to right field, down in the corner. It is gone. So a solo home run by Milton Bradley puts the M's on the board. It's 7-1 here in the 7th inning. That changeup, not in a bad location down and in, but Villanueva gets touched up. Home run number 1 on the year for Bradley. That may have been a fastball. One way or the other, Bradley got all over it. So 7-1. Infield swings around to the right on Jack Cust. So you've got the big shift on. Off-speed pitch is low. Cust 0 for 2. He has drawn a walk. Jesse Litch stands to be the winner this evening as the pitch is outside. 2-0 the count. Powerful Jack Cust without a home run yet this year. Carlos Villanueva back to the plate. The 2-0 change, a swing and a miss, just waving in front. What a great pitch that is with a 2-0 count. Got a shot of Milton Bradley in the Mariners dugout, and what shows up very clearly is the earplugs in each ear. Here's a tapper first base side right to Adam Lind. He'll go to the bag himself for out number 2. Milton Bradley does not want to hear from the fans.
First baseman Justin Smoke.
So 2 down, a run in for the Mariners in the 7th inning. It brings up 5-hitter Justin Smoke. 1 for 2 on the night. He's walked, struck out, and doubled. Isn't that intriguing to see a player that has to wear earplugs so he's not bothered by the fans? Here's a fastball pumped through for a strike.
You know, I was just thinking about Milton Bradley, who's been tormented with his own demons for years, and really the best thing that will happen to him is when his baseball is over, if he can get some professional treatment and help improve some of those areas that he's really had difficulty with.
0-1 pitch, good curveball, a swing and a miss.
Yeah, and you know that
He's had some help offered to him, provided for him, and yet he seems to continue to just have one problem after another. Curveball in the dirt, kicks away from Aaron Sevilla. It's 1-2.
Whether it's temper management that he needs or psychological counseling or whatever, when you're a baseball player, it's very difficult because the off season, you're getting ready for the next season. But when his career is finally over, I hope he gets some help.
Ultimately, there are clearly issues there. Here's the 1-2. Curve in the dirt. Might be the slider from Villanueva. 2-2 the count. Justin Smoke hitting .242 on the season. Villanueva now with a very fine 1.42 ERA for the Jays. He misses just off the outside edge. That'll fill it 3-2. Waiting on deck, the catcher Miguel Olivo.
Well, he's part of that bullpen that leads the major leagues coming into this game tonight. An ERA of 1.11.
Now in his 5th game of the year already. Well, he's been getting his work in and doing a great job with it. Slider in the dirt and a 2-out walk to Justin Smoke. That brings up Miguel Olivo, and I guess you might have anticipated that because Olivo comes to the plate with men on every time he comes to the plate this evening. Olivo having a tough night, 0 for 3. And what did you say? He's left 7 on base this evening?
7 of the 10. And that's where Jesse Litch can look back and say he was very fortunate to get Oliva 3 different times.
Right-hand hitting backstop. Carlos Villanueva with a hanging curveball through for a called strike. Olivo hitting .222. Does have 3 RBIs on his season. He's a veteran, and much of the time he's been a backup. Here's the 0-1 fastball fouled back to the screen, so an 0-2 count on Miguel Olivo.
And you can certainly see Alex Anthopoulos, who's here, maybe a conversation or two with the Mariners, because the Blue Jays have a surplus of young, talented catchers. Last season in the minor leagues had 5 all-star catchers. And here are the Mariners looking for a young catcher. Who knows? That's how you make deals.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Slider got him swinging. So Olivo continues the tough night. Second time he goes down on strikes. 2 in the inning for Villanueva. And that'll do it for the M's. They do get on the board, though, on the solo home run by Milton Bradley. They leave a man on the walk. We go to the 8th. Jerry's coming back to the mic. And the Blue Jays hold a 7-1 lead over Seattle. Our game brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network.
Inning is brought to you by Super 8 Worldwide. Book your super destination today. Visit super8.ca. Well, with the Mariners going to their bullpen, a pitching change means another winner in our VTech Call to the Bullpen contest of a VTech 2 handset cordless answering system with voice-announced caller ID. Listen at the conclusion of our game tonight. That is if you're still up for all the winners. Mr. Sandman has probably caught a few people on the East Coast as we're doing this one. Edwin Encarnacion fouls one back to begin the Blue Jays' 8th inning off right-hander Tom Wilhelmsen. The Blue Jays ahead 7-1 here in Seattle. Edwin's contributed. He's 2 for 3, a double and a single and a run scored. He rips one to third off the glove of the diving third baseman Luis Rodriguez. The shortstop recovers. Throw it to first, not in time to get the hustling Encarnacion, who is now 3 for 4.
No cheapie right there, even though it's off the third baseman's glove. This ball was stung by Edwin.
I think this is the best I've seen him this year so far in the regular season.
To this point, I have to agree. He is really swinging it well.
Now here's Jason Nix. He is 3 for 3, so that means the 8 and 9 hitters have combined for 6 hits. And Nix is trying to make it 7, hitting in the 9th spot. Wilhelmsen delivers a curveball low. Jason, in a scoreless game in the 2nd inning, lined one off the thumb of the third baseman, Sean Figgins, who was going to his left and later had to leave the game, but scored a base hit, and Travis Snyder scored from third to make it 1-0. Swing and a miss. 1-1. In the 3rd, Aaron Hill doubled home a run to make it 2-0, and then he scored on Travis Snyder's ground ball later. That made it 3-0. In the 4th, Encarnacion led off the inning with a single. Nix doubled. A wild pitch and a sacrifice fly off the bat of Escobar made it 5-0. There's a fly ball into center field caught by Saunders. 1 down as Escobar goes back to first. Then in the 6th inning, with 1 out, Nix singled and scored again on a home run deep to right by Corey Patterson, today playing his first game as a Blue Jay, just off the 15-day disabled list. That made it 7-0, and the Mariners' Milton Bradley just homered in the bottom of the 7th inning to make it 7-1. So Nix is retired for the first time tonight. He's 3 for 4, 2 runs scored and an RBI, and the batter Junel Escobar. Wilhelmsen misses outside, ball 1. Junel is 1 for 3, a single to center, and drove in a run with a sacrifice fly in the 2-run 4th. That sacrifice fly made it 5-0. Fastball outside, 2-0. Jesse Litch went 5 scoreless innings, battled, gave up 5 hits, struck out 4, walked 4, and the Mariners left 9 men on over those 5 innings. Junel pops one foul off to our left, 2-1. Jason Frazier, a scoreless hitless 6, but left a man on. Villanueva gave up the home run to Bradley in the 7th. And David Percy's out in the bullpen in left field. Junel takes a big bender for a strike, 2-2. Percy was up earlier. He'll come on to pitch to the Mariners in the bottom of the 8th. A look at first, the 2-2 pitch. A curve is low, blocked by Olivo. On that Home Hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard, it's a final now. Cleveland shut out the Angels 4-0. So Cleveland starts the year 8-2, and the Angels are back to 500, 5-5. The right-hander's outside and low. So Escobar, on a 3-2 pitch, draws a walk, and that pushes Encarnacion up to second base. So how's Cleveland doing it, you ask? Well, they came in hitting .285. That's the third best mark average-wise in the American League. And they're no slouch with their pitching. Their staff ERA is under 4. And they're second in fielding percentage. That usually gets it done. Maybe not always 8 out of 10, but 6 out of 10 anyway.
Well, that mental telepathy thing I've been working on is really starting to work.
Corey Patterson swings through a fastball. He wanted to hit a second home run there in 2 at-bats. It's 0-1. Corey is 2 for 4. And the last 2 at-bats have produced the hits. A single to right and a home run to right. Blue Jays 7, Mariners 1 here in the top of the 8th. Breaking ball hit the center field. Saunders is there. Runners go halfway. Saunders makes the catch, and with that, 2 gone. Just to round out the American League, as here comes Bautista.
Right fielder Jose Bautista.
We mentioned earlier, Texas shut out Detroit 2-0. So the Rangers start the year 9-1. That's the best record in baseball. Tampa Bay thumps Boston 16-5. So the Red Sox fall to 2-8 to start the year. And Oakland edged Chicago 2-1 in Chicago. Bautista takes outside ball 1. He is 2 for 3 with a walk. The Cubs beat Houston 5-4. So Chicago back to 500. They're 5-5. Wilhelmsen is low and outside 2-0. Houston, a team that started 0-8 last year under new manager Brad Mills, here this season starts 2-8 with a loss. St. Louis beat Arizona 8-2 in Phoenix. Fastball up and in, 3-0 half swing. He does not go around, so that confirms it 3-0. Cincinnati beat San Diego 3-2. Yesterday, Joey Votto had 4 hits. He came into the game hitting .455. Fastball high, ball 4, and Wilhelmsen has walked 2 of the last 3 hitters, and now the bases are loaded for Adam Lynn.
You know, and when I see Joey Votto with film clips hitting in that ballpark in Cincinnati that I think is as good as they come for a hitter in Major League Baseball, I just don't know how you're going to stop him. I think he has become that kind of a player.
Just crushing the ball. The pride of Richview Collegiate. The Reds are hitting .312. Now that's second in the game to the Philadelphia Phillies, hitting as a club .334. But the Reds no slouch either with that mark of .312.
Well, you bring up the Phillies, another one of the very best ballparks in which to hit.
Lynn takes a strike. Votto is not even leading the league in hitting at .455. Montero with Arizona came in hitting .500.
Now you bring up another ballpark. Start thinking about those parks in the American or the National League, and boy, those are good ones.
Lynn takes a curve, strike 2 called.
I think Edwin Encarnacion, if he had heard you mention Arizona's ballpark right then, might have grabbed a bat immediately running off of second base. He just tore that place apart.
Edwin had 5 home runs in the 3-game series, 3 in one game. In a game, the Blue Jays hit 6 home runs and lost to the Diamondbacks 8-6. Lynn takes it low.
Now name somebody who plays for the Cubs, and we've got a full house.
And that's what we do not have here at Safeco Field right now.
No.
Anything but a full house. The fans remaining here are all wearing Blue Jays gear. It's 7-1. Toronto here in the top of the 8th. 2 on, 2 outs. The base is loaded, I beg your pardon, 2 outs. There's a swing and a miss on a fastball, and with that strikeout, Adam Lynn flips his batting helmet into the air. He's just been foiled. He is 0 for 5 tonight, 3 strikeouts, and leaves the bases loaded. That was an opportunity for him to salvage something here tonight. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Toronto 7, the Mariners 1. Brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. This inning is brought to you by Rogers. Hello, Speed Boost. Goodbye, waiting. Another first. Only from Rogers. Visit Rogers.com/speedboost. Left-hander David Percy comes on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Blue Jays leading Seattle 7-1. Michael Saunders, Brendan Ryan, and Jack Wilson due up. We say due up because not sure if Eric Wedge at his wit's end here might just pinch hit for the whole boatload of them and try to get something to happen.
You know, there comes a point, and I have played on a team, I believe even under Frank Robinson, there was draw the lineup out of the hat day one time where clubs just struggling, you can't pick up anything, and so the skipper just says we're going to throw the names in a hat, and whatever comes out in order, that's the way it's going to go.
This has been a very poor performance this evening by the Seattle Mariners. They trailed 7-1. Their ace, Felix Hernandez, came out here to try to stop a 7-game losing streak. Michael Saunders, that left-handed hitter, takes a strike.
Attention media, here's the line on Toronto pitcher.
Saunders is 0 for 2, and he's also drawn a walk. Brendan Ryan, the 8th hitter, is on deck, and then Jack Wilson, as we said. Percy comes back to his hitter, low. Percy comes out here in his 5th game. Now, he's not allowed to run over 2 innings. He's not just 1 hit. He has struck out 3, but he has walked 3. And been fortunate that he has not given up a run with those 3 walks. He's low and outside, 2-1. On that Home Hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard, the Dodgers beat the Giants 6-1. That was at AT&T Park. So the Giants fall to 4-6 to start the year. Percy's low, 3-1. And the Dodgers with a win are 6-4. Dodgers came in a game and a half behind Colorado. So a good night for the Dodgers. Anytime it's a good night for the Dodgers when they win against San Francisco, and especially in San Francisco. A strike called, 3-2. Unless that's a typo and the Giants won 6-1. Now that could be.
Not likely.
Just want to see if you were paying attention over there. 3-2 pitch, line to left field. That's a base hit. I'll say this for Percy. He didn't walk him, but a 91-mile-an-hour fastball is turned around the other way, going opposite field for Saunders.
Yeah, now you talked about the bullpen for the Blue Jays pitching so well this year to this point, but in tonight's ball game, each man that's come in, Fraser, Villanueva, and not yet Percy, but the previous 2 walking a man in their innings when you've got that 7-0 lead, a little bit odd, and then Percy falls behind.
The lead at first by Saunders. Right-handed hitting Brendan Ryan up. Takes inside ball 1. Ryan is 1 for 3. So now let me ask you here. It's been just an abysmal game for the Mariners. How hard is it for the Blue Jays to concentrate on every pitch in a game like this?
Well, I think when you're playing well, even if the other team is struggling, you can concentrate.
Pitch is low.
And there become times when it starts to become a laugher, and you might come out of your shoes a little bit with some swings and maybe not play the way you might in a 1-run ball game. But it sure is easier to play that way than when you're struggling as a team and you know the manager is fuming.
Blue Jays with 7 runs, 14 hits, and Edwin Encarnacion, Jason Nix, each with 3 apiece. Hitting in the 8 and 9 spots, respectively. The pitch low, and with that, 3-0, and Percy just fell behind 3-1, so J.P. Arencibia goes out to say, hey, what's up?
Yeah, this is one of those conversations that doesn't become tricky on the hill. Hey, man, you got to throw some strikes. Let's go.
Junel Escobar in the leadoff spot has a base hit, a walk, a run batted in on a sacrifice fly. Corey Patterson just activated from the 15-day disabled list. His first game as a Blue Jay. He's 2 for 5, a single to right and a home run to right. That home run made it 7-0. Fastball outside, ball 4, and Percy's next visit might be from manager John Farrell, where he might come out and say, well, he's going to dispatch Bruce Walton to the mound, but I thought here John Farrell, a former pitcher, might say, David, what's going on?
Yeah, this is the way you pitch your team right into a close ball game, too. You have a 7-1 lead. It feels comfy, and all of a sudden a base hit when you're pitching from behind and a walk, and then a big swing, and all of a sudden the Mariners can play right into this.
And now Octavio Dotel is forced to get up and begin to warm up out in the Blue Jays' pen in left center.
It's a funny thing in the bullpen. Pitchers love to get their call. but not when another pitcher is struggling. When you perceive that each guy is going to go out and pitch his inning, it's a little frustrating to get that call to warm up because you know there's the possibility you'll air it out, you'll get completely loose, and then you have to sit down.
Well, here's Jack Wilson, right-handed hitting, second baseman. He's 0 for 3 tonight, hitting in the 9th spot. A 6-run lead for the Blue Jays, but Saunders at second, Ryan at first, nobody out here in the 8th. Percy in with a fastball strike, so he got a message from Bruce Walton, and message received.
Throw strikes. Oh, okay.
And especially, as you said, with a 6-run lead.
Yeah, this is where, you hear it all the time. Force somebody to put it in play.
And the 0-1 delivery is low.
Of course, at times you really hate to get put in that position, but if you're struggling throwing strikes, you must.
Jose Bautista tonight has reached 4 out of 5 times, 2 walks, 2 singles. He scored a run and struck out. Adam Lind has had a tough night. 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. Has hit into a double play and grounded back to the mound. Pitch is low and inside. Aaron Hill has an RBI double and scored later on a ground ball off the bat of Travis Snyder. Snyder's the only Blue Jay with Lind without a base hit, but Travis has walked and scored and drove in a run with that ground ball. J.P. Arencibia 2 hits. As we said, Encarnacion and Jason Nix 3 apiece. Percy's inside 3-1, and if he walks Wilson here, I think John Farrell will probably go to Dotel, even though Ichiro is a left-handed hitter and he's on deck. We'll see.
I think he's forced to. You can't ride with this.
Percy ready. Delivers. The ball is hit the left center field. Moving over Travis Snyder. He calls off the center fielder. Patterson makes the catch. The runners hold. And with that, 1 away.
Well, if you're David Percy, all you can do is say thank you to Jack Wilson, who swings on what was another ball.
And the Blue Jays have had some gifts like that all night.
Yeah.
And really, the big swing tonight was just that in the 3rd inning. 1 out. The Mariners had the bases loaded, trailing 3-0, and Jesse Litch was struggling. It was 3-2 on Justin Smoke, and he threw a ball that dipped down toward his shoe tops, and Smoke swung over it for a strikeout. Miguel Olivo followed with a fly out to left, and the inning was over.
Yeah, that was the toughest to figure.
Ichiro lines one to left center field softly, coming on. Patterson dives, can't make the play, base hit. Travis picks it up. The bases are loaded, as because of the effort by Patterson, Saunders at second had to hold his ground.
And because Wilson swung on what was ball 4, Percy's fortunate that there is an out and there isn't already a run on the board with the bases loaded.
And now here comes John Farrell. So he lets Percy ride it out with Ichiro, but with Luis Rodriguez on deck, here comes John to bring in Octavio Dotel. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning here in Seattle. The Blue Jays 7, the Mariners 1, but the Mariners have the bases loaded with 1 out. And so with that, let's swing it back to Mike Wilner in Toronto with that Home Hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard. Thank you, Mike. Right here, bottom of the 8th inning, the Blue Jays have a 7-1 lead, but the Mariners have the bases loaded with 1 out on a walk and 2 hits off David Percy and 1 fly out to left center. So Octavio Dotel, the right-hander, on to face the left-handed hitting 3rd baseman Luis Rodriguez. Runners at every base. The pitch fouled off to the left, strike 1. And Dotel comes right in and throws a first pitch fastball strike.
If as a hitter you're surprised at Dotel coming with a first pitch fastball, you are not watching scouting reports.
And Rodriguez was late on that.
Yes.
But he's not the starter. Sean Figgins, the starter, left with a wrist injury, a thumb injury, and Rodriguez here 0 for 2 since. He's flied out and struck out. Dotel is low, 1-1. In fact, Rodriguez, first at bat was with 2 on and 2 outs in the 4th inning, and Litch got him to fly out to center. That was at that time at a point where the Mariners had not scored a run and had left 8 men on. They left another on against Litch in the 5th, a total of 9. Fastball outside, 2-1. Jesse went tonight 5 laborious innings, if you will. He did not give up a run, but he gave up 5 hits, left 9 men on, struck out 4, walked 4, caught a number of breaks, and escaped 3 times with Miguel Olivo at the plate, leaving a total of 7 men on, ending the first, third, and fifth innings. Dotel's pitch hit down the left field side. That's working its way foul. And again, Rodriguez late on that pitch, so it's 2-2. That at 89 miles an hour. If you're catcher J.P. Arencibia, aren't you going back to that well?
Oftentimes, until a hitter shows you that he can handle a pitch well, you stay right with it. And Dotel's inclined to throw the fastball probably 80+% of the time anyway.
Because if he goes off speed here, he gives Rodriguez a chance to catch up with that bat speed. And we'll see what he does here. The stretch by Dotel and the 2-2 pitch, fastball away, 3-2. Mark Zepchinski, the left-hander, getting loose in the pen and left center. On deck, Milton Bradley. Now, he homered his last time up. He's 2 for 4 tonight. That home run to right in the 7th, the Mariners' only run. Blue Jays are ahead 7-1 here in the 8th. Infield looking for a ground ball to turn 2 and come out of the inning. The full count pitch way outside, ball 4. Dotel just walked in a run, and the Mariners have their second run, trailing by 5 now.
So now each one of the Blue Jays relievers tonight has walked one man.
And a little surprised Dotel there on the 3rd ball and the 4th ball, that wild, especially the 4th.
Fastball is just simply getting away.
So now here's Bradley. Switch hitter batting left-hander. A check swing foul. Goes whistling to the backstop. Strike 1. Dotel in 2 games has picked up a win. 2 scoreless innings. He's given up 1 hit. But here, this is his 2nd walk. And the base is still loaded. The 0-1 pitch in the dirt and scraped out with a backhanded stab by Arencibia. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Jack Cust is on deck representing the tying run in this game. That didn't take long. 2 hits, 2 walks around the fly out the left center. Dotel's fastball swung on and missed. Bradley went right through it, 1-2.
And that's exactly to the point that we were talking about as the inning started. David Percy struggling throwing strikes. He gives up a base hit when he's behind in the count. He walks a man. And the comment is, you let a team right back into the game very quickly when you do this.
And the 1-2 delivery. Fastball just outside.
Well received by Arencibia. He gave the umpire a great shot at it.
Ryan at 3rd. Ichiro at 2nd. And Rodriguez at 1st. 1 gone. Dotel. Glove at the chest. Keeps it there. Deals 2-2. Curveball low. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, JP just keeps doing a nice job back there. That's that breaking ball in the dirt, and you can see the body go down and the gloves stay down beautifully.
Now, Dotel was 6 inches wide in that walk to Rodriguez. Does he come inside to Bradley here?
I would imagine he's trying to throw one right down the chute.
The stretch. And the 3-2 pitch. High, ball 4. Dotel's walked the pair. With the bases loaded, the Blue Jays lead cut to 7-3 here in the 8th. And here comes John Farrell. But with Jack Cust, a left-handed hitter, Mark Zepchinski's going to come on. Well, Octavio's been so good, but here, so poor.
Watching Arencibia, he's set up right down the middle, just trying to provide that easiest chance to throw a strike.
We're here at Safeco Field. And suddenly we got a ball game here as Cust is going to come to the plate representing the tying run at 7-3 Blue Jays. And with that, let's pause. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball here on the Blue Jays Radio Network. Seattle, Mark Zepchinski going to face Jack Cust for the first time in his career. Left-hander against left-hander. The Blue Jays are clinging to a 7-3 lead.
I can't even believe in a way that I'm hearing those words, but it was predicted at the start of this inning. If you struggle around, you put guys on base with freebies, you can find the game turn around very quickly, and that's exactly the case here.
Well, here we go. Zepchinski has done a great job in his new pitched, 5 2/3 scoreless innings. He's allowed 1 hit with 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. And here he gets the left-handed hitter, Cust, and on-deck switch hitter, Justin Smoke. 1 out. Mariners have the bases loaded. Cust hitting 171, 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. A little bit of a shift on. They play him up the middle and to right. Zepchinski is low, ball 1.
Well, that strike zone is hard to find.
And here, I don't think it's Scott Barry. I think it's just the Blue Jays are not finding that zone.
No, it is not the home plate umpire.
Zepchinski reading Aaron Sevilla. He is set. And the 1-0 pitch. Low, ball 2, 2-0. Two runs in the inning on walks with the bases loaded. Ichiro at third. Rodriguez now at second. Bradley at first. Well, if you're Jack Cust and you don't have a home run this year and you're a home run hitter, you might just try and go for the seats here. The pitch. He takes it low. Ball 3. And even if he was thinking that, you're not going to swing at that pitch. And now I think it's pretty safe to say he'd take 3-0 and then see what happens.
You would figure so, especially with the Mariners on a 7-game losing skid.
And down by 4, if he takes 3-0 and gets a strike, he might get the same pitch on 3-1, still with the bases loaded, so we'll see. The onus is on Zepchinski. Here's the pitch. Low, ball 4. A third straight walk with the bases loaded. And the Blue Jays are giving it right back to Seattle after the Mariners gave so many breaks and opportunities converted to runs to the Blue Jays.
First baseman, Justin Smoke.
Well, now the tying runners are on. Here is Justin Smoke. It's 7-4 Blue Jays here in the Seattle 3-run 8th. 3 straight walks with the bases loaded. Smoke has been here before. He struck out with the bases loaded, batting left-handed against right-hander Jesse Litch in the 3rd. He's also doubled and walked twice. He's the 8th man to bat here in this inning. Zepchinski's in with a strike. We'll be back with the totals right after this. Well, Zepchinski's ahead 0-1. Let's see what materializes here. Smoke is ready. And the 0-1 delivery outside, ball 1, 1-1. Well, we started with 13,056, and we're down to about 1,356, and they've made their way down toward the dugouts, and they're kind of happy right now that they stuck around. Now, they're not seeing any swings, but they're seeing runs. 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1.
Yeah, the action is slow and furious right now.
Well, Aaron Hill at second base comes to the mound to say something to Zepchinski in the order of, if you don't get your act together, you're going to be out of here too.
That brief meeting parted with Hill having a smile on his face. I'm not so sure it was wholehearted, though.
J.P. Arancibia, the catcher, goes to the mound and says to Zep, what did Aaron just say? To get you to laugh and him laugh like that.
Arancibia has not caught many strikes here in the inning.
I tell you what, this is no laughing matter for John Farrell. He is looking on from the third base dugout and pacing. Now Sean Camp starts to warm up in the bullpen in left center field. Still only 1 out, bases loaded. 2-1 offering, swing and a miss. Finally a swing in the inning. It's 2-2.
And I think that's what Arancibia went out there to say is, look, you've thrown all fastballs. You're not finding the strike zone. Let's try your slider and see if you can throw a strike.
Well, it's 2-2 on Smoke. His second bases loaded opportunity. Struck out in the 3rd. We'll see what he does 5 innings later. 2-2 pitch. Low, ball 3.
So this pitch nowhere near the strike zone. And if you're Arancibia, you got to be tossing a coin that maybe doesn't even have a head on either side.
Now, at game time, at 7:10, it was 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 10 degrees Celsius. It's colder now. And Zepchinski there just blowing into that bare left hand, trying to get some warmth in there and a grip on the ball. We'll see what he does here. He's set. The 3-2 pitch. Slider hit on the ground into left field. A base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes a second. Snyder's throw cut by Nix. This is a 1-run game. Blue Jays 7, Mariners 6. Stopping at second, Cuss, and Smoke has a 2-run single.
And Travis does a nice job getting his throw down cuttable so that no runners can move up.
Ryan Langerhans comes on to run at second base for Cuss. A 1-run game, and here is Miguel Olivo. And this is where you finally say Olivo, in his 4th opportunity here of 5 plate appearances tonight with runners in scoring position, might be due. Here comes John Farrell, and he is going to bring right-hander Sean Camp to face Zepchinski, to face Camp as Farrell takes Zepchinski out of the game.
Hard to believe you have a 7-1 lead going into the 8th inning, and you need 4 relievers to try to get the job done.
David Percy starts the inning, gives up a hit, and then walks a man. And out later gives up a hit, and he's gone. Octavio Dotel walks 2 straight with the bases loaded. Then enters Zepchinski. He walks Cuss. That's 3 straight walks with the bases loaded. And now Smoke with a 2-run single to really make this a game. 8th inning. Blue Jays 7, Mariners 6. We'll pause. Wow. Brought to you by Home Hardware and a long way from Toronto. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. Battle on a Monday night where the Blue Jays had a 7-0 lead through 6 innings. A 7-1 lead through 7. This is now a 1-run game, 7-6. The Blue Jays in this inning have seen their pitchers just self-destruct with 4 walks, 3 of them consecutively with the bases loaded. And then Justin Smoke here with a 2-run single to left. Now here is Miguel Olivo, 0-for-4. He grounded out in the first inning, leaving the bases loaded to end that inning. Then he flied out the left off Jesse Litz to end the 3rd inning, again leaving the bases loaded. He struck out in the 5th with Smoke at second with his 2-out double. That ended that inning. He struck out in the 7th, ending that inning with a walk-on. And now here he is in the 8th inning with 2 more men on. He has left 8 men on here, ending 4 innings. Camp's pitch to him. Swinging a ground ball to third. Taken by Nix. Go to second one. Hill back to first on the bounce. Taken by Lind. Call it 2. What a double play. And Miguel Olivo, yes, has ended 5 innings here tonight. And he's left runners in scoring position each time to the tune of 9. And with that, Jason Nix, who has 3 hits tonight, continues to show he wants to stay for a long time. With his bat, with his glove, with his arm. Sean Camp does the job once again. We go to the 9th, Toronto 7, the Mariners 6. Brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. A pitching change brings on another winner in the VTech Call to the Bullpen contest. Listen at the end of this game for all the lucky winners' names. Well, as we go to the 9th inning, Josh Lukey is that pitcher who comes on. The Blue Jays 7, the Mariners 6. And at the tail end of that double play, Adam Lind picks Aaron Hill's throw out of the dirt, keeps his foot on the bag to end the spectacular double play started at the other corner by Jason Nix.
And if that throw gets by Lind, this game's tied.
Here's Aaron. He takes outside ball 1. Hasn't Aaron been in the mix here, and then Lind picks him up.
I'll tell you what, minus that pick, again, you've got a tie ball game, and Adam Lind just continues to do a terrific job at first base.
Aaron lines one to center field, moving a bit into left center to make a backhanded catch is Michael Saunders. With that, Aaron 1 for 5 tonight.
The catcher, J.P. Arancibia.
Well, Adam Lind and J.P. Arancibia defensively and offensively, for that matter, but it was the defense everybody was wondering about, can take bows for what they've done here over the first 10 games.
Yeah, for Adam Lind, a forgettable 0 for 5 tonight with 3 strikeouts, but boy, his defense has been solid.
Here's Aaron Sebia, swing and a miss, strike 1. Lukey comes into the game here. In 3 games, he's given up 4 earned runs over 2 2/3 innings on 3 hits. 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, so that ERA is 13.5. His next pitch is in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Aaron Sebia tonight 2 for 4, a couple of bloop singles to right. The Blue Jays with 14 hits and leading Seattle 7-6 as they bat here in the 9th. The delivery is outside.
May I mention, Jerry, that the Blue Jays have used 6 of their 7 relievers tonight, which presents a tricky situation, I think, for John Farrell come the 9th inning. Do you stay with Sean Camp, or do you send John Roush out there, who generally goes no more than 1 inning?
Fastball swung on and missed 2-2. Well, I was about to say that John Farrell's already made that decision. It's going to be Sean Camp because John Roush is still sitting in that bullpen bench out there in left center field, and that makes sense. Camp threw only 1 pitch.
Well, for me, I wouldn't even risk it if Camp had thrown 15 pitches, because John Roush would be stuck trying to pitch as many innings as necessary following if the game got tied.
The 2-2 pitch is low. So the Blue Jays lead at 7-6. 9th inning, 1 out. On deck, Travis Snyder. And the 3-2 delivery. Fastball fouled off hard toward the right side of the Mariners dugout. And there, you see that little fence there protecting the Mariners. That might have saved an injury right there. The Blue Jays now in their dugout, and the opponent's dugout at the Rogers Center have done the same thing. 3-2 on Aaron Sebia. Right-hander Josh Lukey is set. Fastball line to right field. Ichiro goes back, stops, makes the catch.
JP's starting to look more and more comfortable with that bat.
2 down. That was a great swing with 2 strikes.
Pitch up and away, and he lines it the other way.
Snyder, in his first game ever as a Blue Jay here in Seattle, comes to the plate. 0 for 3 in a walk. He has scored a run and driven in a run with a ground ball. Fastball slice foul over the head of third base coach Brian Butterfield. Strike 1. In the Mariners' bottom of the 9th inning, and remember in the 8th they batted around, so they're going to start all over again. Michael Saunders, Brendan Ryan, and Jack Wilson. Now that trio helped spark a 4-run, 3-hit rally. Aided and abetted by the Blue Jays' 4 walks. 3 with the bases loaded. Travis takes a strike. It's 0-2. Lukey set. Strike 2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. With that, we go to the bottom of the 9th. Toronto 7. The Seattle Mariners 6. The Cousins, the expansion Cousins from 77, haven't had it here in 2011. Brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. Home half of the 9th inning. Sean Camp out to finish what he really helped try and start the finish when he in the 8th inning came on with the bases loaded. 7-6 Blue Jays, and induced Miguel Olivo to hit into a third to second to first double play. Now here he is to face Michael Saunders to get it started. Saunders singled to start that bat around 4-run 8th inning. Tonight he is 1 for 3. Sean Camp goes into that bare right hand. Now takes that right foot, sets it in front of the rubber. Takes a big breath, the sigh, and he's ready to go. Saunders, a long, lanky, lean left-handed hitter, takes it low, ball 1. Well, the Blue Jays helped the Mariners get right back in this game. And now Camp trying to stop it here from any more scoring in the bottom of the 9th inning. Camp's pitch line to right down the line.
Hooking fair, a base hit. That goes into the corner. Picked up by
Bautista. He throws to second. It's cut by
Hill. And a leadoff double by Saunders.
representing the game's tying run here in the Seattle 9th.
Yeah, there should be no surprises now if Eric Wedge, the skipper of the Mariners, chooses to use the
bunt here to set up a man at third and less than 2
outs here in this part of the order. An 8-hitter coming up.
That 8-hitter is Brendan Ryan, the right-handed hitting shortstop, who tonight is 1 for 3 and he's walked and scored.
Blue Jays have had a meeting at the mound. Infield is
drawn in at the corners. In fact, even pinching it short and
second right now. So clearly they believe something is in the works.
The ideal bunt would be up along third, force Nix to come in and field it. Ryan turns to bunt, pulls the bat back, takes high, ball 1. Camp was sprinting to the third base line, and Nix was staying back at the bag.
That's the way you play it when you most want to prevent that runner from being bunted up to third base.
So Adam Lind was charging from first, and if Ryan sees Camp sprinting for third, he might try and push a bunt to the right of the mound. Thus the presence of Lind. Now bluff throw to second. Lind was charging right down the throat of Ryan at the plate.
And Lind wisely charging in an angle somewhat toward the mound to cover for that open spot that Camp is leaving when he sprints to the third base line.
Right-hander against right-hander. Camp ready. Ryan turns to bunt, pulls the bat back. It's inside, 2-0. And you wonder if the veteran Camp is thinking more about covering third than throwing a quality pitch.
It can happen. You know it's part of your assignment.
So Sean has been around long enough to gather himself here and concentrate here on a 2-0 pitch where Ryan's trying to give himself up. Tying run at second, nobody out in the Mariners' 9th. The pitch bunted up along third. Good bunt. Fielded by Camp with a bare hand. Throw it to first in time to Hill covering. The sacrifice bunt gets Saunders to third. Nicely done by Brendan Ryan, who gets high fives from his teammates in that Mariners first base dugout.
Really a perfect bunt under the situation there. And now there's no way that John Farrell can consider walking hitters. You don't want to put a potential winning run on base. So now it's up to Sean Camp in the infield to keep this a 1-run lead for the Blue Jays.
Now veteran left-handed hitter Adam Kennedy is going to come up here and pinch hit for Jack Wilson to give the Mariners a left-handed stick at the plate against the right-hander Camp. And with that move announced and in the books, pitching coach Bruce Walton jogs to the mound. Now the umpire, Scott Berry's already there, and Scott now has to walk away from the mound because he's got to give Bruce a little time to chat with his pitcher. Home run. In the third, 2 more. Aaron Hill double home run and scored on a ground ball off the bat of Travis Snyder. The Blue Jays added 2 in the 4th inning on a Mariners wild pitch that brought in a run and a Junel Escobar sacrifice fly. In the 6th, Corey Patterson in his first game as a Blue Jay hit a 2-run home run to right with Nix aboard. That made it 7-0. But the Mariners are running the 7th on a home run by Milton Bradley, and then a bat around 4-run 8th where 3 straight times the Blue Jays, Octavio Dotel and Mark Zepchinski walk Mariners with the bases loaded to allow Seattle to get in the game. Infield drawn in. The pitch to Kennedy, high and wide, ball 1. And then Justin Smoke with that windfall of 3 runs to make it 7-4. With the bases loaded single home 2, a ground ball to the left. That made it 7-6. And that's the score here in the Seattle 9th. The delivery. Kennedy grounds one to short. Fielded by Escobar. Hold the runner at third. Throw to first for the precious second out.
Focus on that one being the key out, but now walks Ichiro to the plate.
So what has Ichiro done against Sean Camp, you ask? Well, he is 2 for 8 in his 4 career at-bats, a .250 hitter. You know he's a better hitter than that. He comes into the game hitting So here we go. Tying run at third, winning run at the plate. Safe go field, Seattle, Washington, bottom of the ninth. Blue Jays 7, Mariners 6. Ichiro tonight, 2 for 4 and a pitch. It's outside, ball 1.
Part of the difficult situation is you can't consider pitching around Ichiro, because if you put him on with his speed, he likely tries to steal a bag, and there's that potential winning run and scoring position.
And the 1-0 pitch. Change up low, 2-0. Luis Rodriguez on deck, and John Farrell has indicated put Ichiro on intentionally.
Boy, that's a
ball
gutsy
3.
move.
So the Blue Jays will go after Rodriguez, put the winning run on. Chris Jimenez is the only hitter left on Eric Wedge's bench. He's a right-handed batter, so this is the matchup John Farrell prefers, even though he's put the winning run on.
Luis Rodriguez.
If I'm Eric Wedge, I am probably figuring that the Blue Jays will not throw through to second base if Ichiro takes off, risking the chance of that tying run scoring on a double steal possibility. And therefore, I probably have Ichiro in motion very early.
Luis Rodriguez came off the bench after 3 innings for the injured Sean Figgins at third. 9th inning. Blue Jays 7, Mariners 6. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. Rodriguez up here batting left-handed. Camp the stretch. He kicks and deals, and a fastball with something taken off it in between that fastball change in there for a strike on the outside corner.
And the surprise for me is that Ichiro's still at first base.
Adam Lynn holds him on. Rodriguez hitting .091. Camp set. Kicks. Here he comes. Changeup hit on the ground. Foul at first base, and it's 0-2. Interesting to note there, when Camp came to the plate, Ichiro was breaking back to first. He did not have any kind of a read on Camp.
A little bit of what you would call the high normal leg kick.
Michael Saunders opens the inning with a double. Bunted to third by Ryan. Kennedy grounds out to short with the infield end. Ichiro given the intentional pass with a 2-0 count. And now Rodriguez. Game on the line. Camp is set. Ichiro does not go. The 0-2 pitch. Fouled off over the screen left side.
Camp comes with a slider. Leaves it up. Big hanger about it, the letters.
Camp to the rosin bag. Remember, he came on last inning and on 1 pitch, bases loaded in a 1-run game. 1 out induced Miguel Olivo to hit into an inning-ending double play. We're in the 9th. Here's the strike 2 pitch. There goes Ichiro. Slider just outside. And it's 1-2 as Ichiro goes up to second. He was held on at first, so that's a stolen base, not indifference.
So there's the predictable lack of a throw to try to catch Ichiro. And again, for me, a big surprise that he didn't run earlier.
Tying run at third, winning run at second. Kemp ahead on the count, 1-2 to Rodriguez. The stretch. Pitch on the way, change, hit foul on the ground, right side. Like Kemp does such a nice job keeping that changeup down.
Which also means pressure on J.P. Arancibia to make sure he blocks anything in the dirt.
The Mariners started the year 2-0. They've since dropped 7 straight. They're 0-3 at home. They just were swept by Cleveland here in a 3-game series. Camp looks in. He's set again. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Change, and he just got a piece of it, fouling it off at the plate. So in a game that really had no drama through 7, it's been nothing but drama, albeit with the 3 bases loaded walks the Blue Jays issued to Seattle in the 5-run 8th inning, and it's a game.
You catch Felix Hernandez on an off night, and that off night certainly aided by some poor defense behind him, and you figure you've got a laugher. 7-0 early, and then it turns into this when in the 8th inning the bullpen can't throw a strike.
Blue Jays 7, Mariners 6. Bottom of the 9th. Runners at second and third, 2 outs. Camp ready. 1-2 pitch to Luis Rodriguez. Swing and a foul at the plate. He just got another piece of it. Rodriguez battling here, pitch after pitch with Camp.
Arancibia took a tough foul tip in the knee area on the shin guard, but he's a tough guy back there. He battles him off very quickly.
Camp looking in. Glove at the chest. Again, the 1-2 pitch. Change is low. 2-2.
JP's got on his mind, no doubt, keeping pitches in front of him, and there was a lot of body movement on his part there, maybe even moving in front of the home plate umpire.
So Luis Rodriguez here, battling for all he's worth. Saunders at third, Ichiro at second. Camp to stretch again. And the 2-2 pitch. Change hit to right field, down the line, hooking foul. And the battle continues. Rodriguez last year was with the Rangers organization and then came over here in the Cliff Lee deal. Last year he was in AAA Charlotte, hit .293 with 16 home runs and 17 doubles. So the Mariners hopeful of getting a return in that trade here tonight, a season later. Stretch. And the 2-2 pitch. Change. Lined into right center field. That's up the gap, and that is going to go to the wall. A base hit. Rodriguez singles home two. And the Mariners win it 8-7 here in Seattle. Hours and 46 minutes later, the Blue Jays will lament the many walks in a 5-run 8th inning, 3 with the bases loaded, as the Mariners celebrate breaking their 7-game losing streak.
Yeah, Jerry, along with a whole lot of other things that went on tonight, therein lies the danger in walking the potential winning run in Ichiro there with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And the big hit winds up winning it for the M's instead of just a tie ball game scenario. So very tough ball game to manage, I think, on both sides.
For the 8th straight game, the Blue Jays play either a 1- or 2-run game. And with the loss here, they're 3-5 over those hard-fought games. But here tonight, the bullpen implodes. A bullpen that led the major leagues coming in here in earned run average at 1.11. But the walks were killers here tonight, allowing the Mariners to get back in without swinging the bat. And then when they did, Justin Smoke a 2-run single to make it a 1-run game. And Luis Rodriguez finishes up with a 2-run single to win it in the ninth, 8-7. We'll be back. Brought to you by Home Hardware. This is the Blue Jays Radio Network. The Mariners, with a walk-off win it 8-7 on the 2-run single hit up the gap into deep right center field by Luis Rodriguez. He just stopped at first base. The game was over. And with that, Josh Lukey wins it. Sean Camp pinned with the loss. Congratulations to our winners in the VTech Bullpen Hotline promotion. David Rolfson of Sherwood Park, Alberta is a winner. Mike Halamick from Chilliwack in British Columbia, winner as well. David Thorgrimson from Kenora, Ontario, a winner as well. Remember to enter the new VTech Bullpen Hotline promotion. Every time the Blue Jay hitters ring up the opposing team's pitcher and they go to their bullpen, a lucky listener will win a VTech 2-handset cordless answering machine system featuring voice-announced caller ID and a cordless headset for hands-free conversations. Enter online now at VTechBullpenHotline.com or fan590.com. Well, that's it from here in Seattle. Now, tomorrow night, join us at 9:30 Eastern, 10:10 first pitch. Ricky Romero against Michael Pineda. That'll be game 2 of this 3-game series. And with that, the Mariners win it here tonight, 8-7. Let's send it back to Mike Wilner in Toronto for a look at that Home Hardware Sportsnet out-of-town scoreboard and a wrap-up as part of our Honda post-game show.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
Talking it up right here, and